Pitch Magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios, here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Really excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Friday. Hopefully you guys had a great Juneteenth and the day off. Rob is taking an extra day off today. He is celebrating his 1-year anniversary. So congratulations to Rob and his wife as they are enjoying a long weekend. We got a lot to get into in today's show. Coming up at 3 o'clock, we are going to be joined by Nate Taylor of The Athletic. The Chiefs are officially done with their off-season workouts. The next time we will see the Kansas City Chiefs, they will be getting ready in St. Joseph, Missouri, and the start of training camp. Now, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time. This is not where I wanted to start today's show, but do you guys remember in the movie Liar, Liar? And you remember whenever Jim Carrey picked up the phone and he yelled at his client about not breaking the law? That would be the message that I would give to every member of the Kansas City Chiefs. I think I'm pretty lax in the things that I'm willing to tolerate from professional athletes. Because for the most part, your number one priority is to get them on the field and have them help you win. Now, obviously, there are exceptions. We don't got to go through every single exception, but for the most part, I'm willing to look the other way on a lot of things. But once your off-the-field conduct crosses the line to where you are not able to play in the regular season games, we got a problem. So have fun. Enjoy your summer. Go on the most extravagant vacation that you can imagine. Hang out with pop stars. Travis Kelce yesterday was at Hot Country Nights down in Power and Light. Enjoy your life. If you are reading about a Chiefs player in TMZ that's not Patrick Mahomes and not Travis Kelce, I'm telling you something went wrong. They are not covering Kareem Hunt's offseason. He ain't important enough. If he is covered on TMZ, that means he's in trouble. I don't want any TMZ headlines this offseason about none of you. Go off, enjoy your summer, have fun. If you are on that website, something went left here. That's where we are in this portion of the season. We're going to be joined by Nate Taylor coming up in a little bit, and we'll see how minicamp, how OTAs went. Also, just get a look ahead to what could potentially be down the pipeline coming up in the next couple of days and weeks for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll also talk some Royals baseball. That's where we are going to start today's show. But before we do that, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. And you know what? It would be great if you could tell one person to check out the show. I would really, really appreciate it. This has been the quote that has been playing in my mind for the last couple of days. It was J.J. Piccolo about patience and positivity.
But really, it's just staying positive right now, understanding the history between the coaches and the players, and the reminders. Nobody knows our current hitters as well as the guys in our batting cages every day. I mean, they live with them every day. They understand their swings. They understand what makes them tick. And now it's just a matter of trying to tweak some things here and there, but also stay positive. You know, you've got to stay positive through these tougher times. And I know we have the right guys that will stay positive, and they put the work in every day. You know, I can tell you this, today in Texas is not going to look any different than last year in Texas as far as the energy and the positivity and our processes. But now the challenge is a little bit greater because the confidence, you know, is wavering a little bit. But all it takes is one little good run offensively to get that confidence back, and you just go play baseball.
Did you hear what he said there? He said that it would take just one positive run. And you know what we saw? We saw a positive stretch of baseball for the Kansas City Royals. They scored 16 runs in this series against the Texas Rangers. They scored 6, 6, and 4. Hey, that's what we're talking about. Yesterday, Jack Caglione hit not one, but 2 home runs. The Royals continue to get great pitching. The Rangers didn't score more than 3 runs in this series in an individual game. The Royals starting pitching was as solid and consistent as it's been this entire time. You know what happened? Must wake up bats. Now, we all kind of laughed at the players only meeting and we all kind of got our jokes in, but did you know that the Royals are 3-1 since the players meeting and the offense has really started to be productive? Bobby Wood Jr. hit a home run a couple of nights ago. Salvi hit a couple of home runs nights ago. Jack Caglione hit a couple of home runs. Salvi's turned the corner offensively in the month of June. This is the offense that we expected the Royals to be. Now, we have seen enough Royals baseball that I'm not going to put a lot of stock into just 2 baseball games, 3 baseball games, that it is much more of a process. You need to see a lot more from the Royals. But if you were telling me that this team is heading in the right direction offensively and turning things around as we are entering the summer, as today is officially the first day of the summer, you will take that. The Royals are 1 game under 500. If you win this series this weekend against the San Diego Padres, you come back to Kauffman Stadium at 500, and you have undone a lot of the damage that you did last week in losing the entire homestand. So it's going to be up and down, and at times it has been far more down than it's been up for the Kansas City Royals. But I do think you should take some solace in the fact that, man, their offense really performed well. I think you can argue that's the best their offense has been really this entire season. It was a full complement of everybody, and what was so encouraging is this offense was led by the players that matter most. Jack Caglione, Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino. They won this series off the offense and bats from their core, from their key run producers. You haven't been able to say that a lot this season. You hope that this builds a little bit momentum. You hope that this starts something for the Royals offense. A very encouraging sign in Texas.
In the pitch. Fastball hit high in the air, deep to right field. Garcia shuffles back, still going, at the fence, it's gone! Into the second row! An opposite field, 2-run shot for Salvador Perez! There's the crooked number! A 3-run top of the first inning for the Royals. 2, thanks to 1 swing from El Capitan.
That was Jake Eisenberg on the call as Salvador Perez just had a phenomenal game a couple of games ago. Jack Caglione hits a couple home runs yesterday. The Royals offense really broke through in a positive way this week in Arlington, and we'll see if that can continue as they head to San Diego before they come back home. We'll get to the Chiefs coming up in just a bit. Maybe the most positive sign of the entire offseason we got yesterday from the Kansas City Chiefs. But before we get to that, you guys know the rules. If we start the show talking about the Royals, it can only mean one thing. I know we don't have Rob, but Nathan, he's more than capable. Nate, hit me.
We're where you want to be. Baseball with the Royals. If you want to be.
Hey, that's right, C-Dot. I'm going to try to hold you down even though Rob is taking a 4-day weekend. We have a random lineup from this day in 2004. The Royals were in Philadelphia taking on the Phillies. It did not go very well for the Royals.
Oh, here we go.
It did not go very well. Leading off was the second baseman, Tony Griffinino.
Tony who?
Tony Griffinino.
Okay,
Excuse me.
Close enough.
Excuse me.
You did your best. That's all I want you to do every day. I want you to do your best.
Well,
Tony G.
And you know who I'm talking about. That's all that matters.
No, that's all that matters. This might be the best Tony G we've had in Kansas City. We used to have Tony G back on 103.3 back in the day. He was always good for your drive home, for your hip-hop and R&B. I think the Chiefs had some tight end named Tony G. I guess he was okay. Tony Graffinino, that's the real Tony G in Kansas City. If you're asking a real native and you say, hey, you remember Tony G? Oh, yeah, he played for the Royals.
Right, he's not saying, oh, is that the second best tight end in Chiefs history? No.
That doesn't sound accurate to me.
Batting second in center field was Carlos Beltran. Hitting third was the first baseman, Mike Sweeney.
Hey, Mike Sweeney.
Batting fourth in left field, Ken Harvey.
And a
lot of speed in the corner outfield today. Batting fifth, the right fielder was Matt Stairs.
Hey, I mean, right here, there's a lot of speed in that 3-4-5 with Mike Sweeney, Ken Harvey, and what, Matt Stairs, you said? Mm-hmm. I mean, that right there, a lot of stolen bases there, really put pressure on teams on the base pass.
Batting sixth, the shortstop, Angel Baroa.
Angel Baroa should have been batting higher up in the lineup. He really should have been hitting second for this team.
He had 2 hits in this game.
Of course he did.
Batting seventh was Desi Relaford playing third base. I got to click on this guy's name. I have never heard of him. I apologize to this gentleman.
Oh,
Batting
my
eighth.
goodness. Don't, Paul, hold on now. Time out.
You got to hear this name.
You're not disrespecting Desi Relaford on this show.
The next
number
guy.
8. Okay, I thought you were disrespecting Desi.
Absolutely not. With 6 career at-bats ever, batting eighth, the catcher, Michael Tonis.
Oh, I never heard of him before.
I mean, in the entirety of his career, he had 6 at-bats.
Who? Michael Tonis?
Michael Tonis.
Oh, my goodness.
He had 3 of those 6 at-bats today.
So he basically played 2 games in the majors and he was out of here.
And batting ninth of the pitcher was Dennis Reyes. The Royals lost 8-2 to the Phillies. Reyes did not make it out of the 3rd inning.
You know what's crazy, and I appreciate the random lineup for the day. People we used to watch baseball games in which the pitcher would hit. That was fun. People thought that was like a more pure, entertaining brand of baseball. We just loved having a guy that hit 100 in the lineup every day. That was fun. You know what that was? That was, hey, it's time to go to the bathroom. Whenever you saw that 7, 8, 9 do up in the National League, that's when you knew, hey, we can go to the concession stand here. This is when we can take a lap around the stadium and walk around. I cannot believe that we let the pitcher hit for as long as we did in Major League Baseball. That's a fumble on everybody's part. Bud Selig, you did a lot wrong. That might be number 1 on the list, that you let the pitcher hit the entire time that you were the commissioner of Major League Baseball. You guys don't like Rob Manfred. He's done a lot of really good things. And the fact that we don't have to see Denny Reyes at the plate anymore might be number 1 on the list. He also sped this thing up. There is no reason why baseball games should be 3 hours and 12 minutes. We can have the same 27 outs in a much more condensed package. Rob Manfred, you know what? He might be the best commissioner in sports now that I'm thinking about it with some of the changes that we've seen. Coming up on the other side, let's get back to the Kansas City Chiefs and some very encouraging news. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison
This man was a bona fide scrub.
on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
At Casey's, we're too nice to say no. So when someone asked for a free frozen drink, we said sure. Then they said every Friday all summer, and well, now we're giving away free medium frozen drinks every Friday. Free frozen Fridays with Casey's Rewards. It's not crazy, it's Casey's. See store for details.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in Kansas City. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
It's the spring sales event at Rob Sight Ford, and I'm here with the man himself, Rob Sight. Rob, you already stole the spotlight. Now what are you trying to take?
Just your attention, Kevin, and maybe a few trade-ins. Now, we've got up to $14,000 off new Fords with employee pricing, plus our own dealer discount.
14 grand. That's hotter than your Sunday barbecue.
Exactly. And unlike your burgers, these deals won't dry out. We've got hard-to-find inventory, huge trade-in values, and our non-commissioned sales team makes everything so easy.
No pressure, just real help. Even I'll admit it, it's the best place in Kansas City to buy a car, and I don't hand out compliments lightly. Or seconds.
That's a fact. And don't forget, we're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and 0 grill marks.
All right, Rob, I'll give it to you, man. You're cooking up some real value over there.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit robsight.com. But hurry, these deals are sizzling and inventory's moving fast.
And tell him Rob sent you. No guarantees, but he might throw in a hot dog.
And Doug.
Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/2025. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
I'm Emma Greed, and I've spent the last 20 years building, running, and investing in some incredible businesses. The more success I've had, the more people started coming to me with questions. How do you start a business? How do you raise money? How do I bounce back from failure? On my new podcast, Aspire with Emma Greed, I'll be answering these questions and more through weekly conversations with the smartest minds out there. Listen to and follow Aspire with Emma Greed, an Odyssey podcast available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
All right, let's talk about, I think, the biggest news right now regarding the Kansas City Chiefs. There's a headline right now on ESPN, and the headline reads, "The Chiefs' top pick, Josh Simmons, to be ready for camp." Andy Reid confirmed this during his last media availability. Quote, "You can see his athletic ability. You can see his want to. He's got a great attitude. He's accomplished everything the right way, plus a little bit extra." He goes on to talk about how he believes that he is going to be ready to go for Chiefs training camp. Here is the latest from Ian Rappaport about Josh Simmons and how he performed in the minicamp and looking ahead to Chiefs training camp coming up in about 5 weeks.
Well, to me, they stand in a really, really good place. What the Kansas City Chiefs did was not just draft Simmons in the first round, and you're right, fell to them, and this is someone I think they really secretly had their eyes on the entire time. They were really happy with where he was medically coming back from that torn patellar tendon. Not all teams were sure about this one. Chiefs were really happy with where he was. I think tried to keep it quiet because this is the player they wanted just because he's such an unbelievably talented tackle despite the injury. But they also don't want to rush him. So they're giving him some time off during the spring. They're making sure he has days to rehab and rehabilitate. They also signed Jalen Moore to come in and be their left tackle until whenever, basically until Simmons is ready, or maybe the entire year, or maybe Simmons starts out as the swing tackle. Most important thing for the Chiefs is they have talent there and they have depth there to not be caught short at one of the most important positions on the football field. And seeing the resources that they use to address this really underscores how important and essential they believe a good left tackle is.
All right, this is where maybe I disagree with the general consensus. And I certainly understand the value of having depth at important positions. And having left tackle depth, really, really important. But I also think we have to have the conversation about what does that depth mean? And building depth in some spots removes depth in other spots. That, yes, it would appear that the Chiefs could quite possibly have two capable left or right tackles this year, depending on what position. But they also don't really have a lot of depth when it comes to the other side of the ball and pass rushing depth. The Chiefs kind of chose what side they were going to be. Now, let's obviously see how this plays itself out. But if Josh Simmons is fully healthy and ready to go, it creates a really interesting dynamic for training camp and who ultimately can win the job. Because I think we are reaching one of these 2 points. Either the Chiefs will sit down one of their 5 highest paid players on either side of the ball, or we're going to look at this as a redshirt year for their first-round pick who maybe doesn't need a redshirt year. A lot of the conversation about Josh Simmons was it was going to take him a little bit, that he maybe wasn't going to be medically cleared until August or early September. If you're telling me that that's not going to be the case, that first day at St. Joe, he's going to be there, that when they start putting the pads on, he's going to be ready, I do think the Chiefs are going to have it be maybe more of an open competition. Well, you gave Jalen Moore $21 million. You usually are not giving $21 million to your backup left tackle. That's the guy that you think is at least your short-term answer at the position. We have talked about it with Jawan Taylor. There is nothing they can do with Jawan Taylor. He is due to make $25 million this year. So, I mean, technically, I guess you could trade him. I don't know what team is trading for Jawan Taylor's contract for the final year of his deal. I also don't think that the Chiefs are going to make him available. So, again, I mean, this might be a good problem to have. At least that might be the perception that this is a good problem to have. But, I mean, these are the 2 options for the Chiefs. Either they are going to have a very, very expensive backup at either left or right tackle, or they are essentially going to redshirt a player who might not need a redshirt. Yes, you have created depth in the sense of it. But I'm just a big believer, especially in a salary cap world, man, you only got so much cap space. And to give up $21 million to use almost 10% of your salary cap and what is available on a player who, in theory, might not start for this team week 1 is usually just not how I would spend my resources, where you could have went out and spent that $21 million for someone on the defensive side, someone with a proven pass rush record, and really help solidify your pass rush opposite Chris Jones and George Karlaftis.
Yeah, even if the redshirt thing is what happens, they've got a premium asset sitting on the bench at tackle. I don't think it's going to be $25 million or $27 million, whatever he's making. I don't think it'll be Jawan Taylor. Mahomes referred to him as JT in minicamp yesterday, talked about how integral a piece of the line Jawan Taylor is. I don't see Jalen Moore kicking out to right tackle if Josh Simmons wins this spot. The only place I disagree here is Moore was signed before the draft happened. And I understand everyone thought Josh Simmons would slide. I don't think there was any way to be sure that he'd be there at 32. And he slid with teams passing up on him, not knowing when the injury would clear up. I think if we had known that the injury was ahead of schedule, like we do now, maybe he wouldn't have slid in that way either.
But I guess my question would then be, and you're right, we don't have access to some of it. I mean, it's not like the draft was a long time ago. It was 2 months ago. Like, you couldn't see just a little bit into the future. Like, you didn't have a little bit of foresight to now have created a little bit potentially of a logjam. And maybe this is also where I don't think Josh Simmons being available at 31 is that much of a surprise. It's not like we're talking about Armand Mimbu was available, that we were talking about being a top 10 pick this entire time, that now we look up and like, oh man, I can't believe he fell. Josh Simmons was always looked at to be a late first-round pick. And then he was available as a late first-round player. You drafted him. Really good situation. But this offseason, the Chiefs really didn't take a lot of swings in free agency. Now you're telling me if we're looking at the possibility of Jalen Moore being a backup, you didn't really do anything then in free agency if that's how we're talking about. Someone on the text line throws out, I would trade Taylor, start Moore, and Simmons. We can go through Jawan Taylor's contract to just how difficult it is going to be. Jawan Taylor's cap hit is $27.3 million for this season. That means he accounts for 9.8% of the Chiefs' salary cap. His dead cap is also $34.7 million. You're just realistically not getting rid of Jawan Taylor at this point. Like, to give you an analogy, you were trying to sell your 2017 car that has 160,000 miles on it. Someone's probably just not going to buy it at the price that you were trying to get rid of it for. So I just don't think Jawan has a lot, especially because, I mean, it's essentially a one-year contract. Wherever he goes for next season, you either have to extend him, and he has a lot of leverage in that situation, or you have to cut him at the end of this season because you'll save $20 million by getting him off the books. This is the negative, and sometimes I don't think people understand what the concept of a restructure is. When you go to a player and ask him to restructure, yeah, you're moving the money around to create cap space. You also give that player just more and more control, where for this season, Jawan Taylor's base salary is $19.5 million. He gets paid over $1 million a game. I can do the math. He gets over $1 million a game to go out there. There's just not a lot of teams that are going to be really excited to take on that contract.
Draft pick compensation would have to be tied into it from the Chiefs' end if you want to get rid of Jawan Taylor this year. I think we just need to accept Jawan Taylor as the right tackle for one more season, and then the Chiefs have the opportunity to cut bait. And also, top of the market tackle play is not available. So if your plan is to slide Jalen Moore over to right tackle, we're asking him to be league average? I think Jawan Taylor can be close enough to that. I don't see a need to move those parts around. I'm not sure a team is going to want to take on that contract or take Jawan Taylor on without a day 2 or early day 3 pick attached to him. I think the ultimate conclusion to all of this could be Jalen Moore as a overpaid backup swing tackle. I think we're looking at that. And then, in that situation, your theory is not wrong about maybe they went a little too hard at the tackle position this offseason and neglected some other areas of the roster.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here looking at it. CDOT, this is real back Monday morning quarterback, like someone else posted in. Nobody had Simmons going later than 20. That's not true. It's not true. A lot of people had Simmons being very available. When I gave my predictions on who I wanted the Chiefs to pick, one of my 4 possibilities was that player. Someone else said, CDOT, Jalen Moore signed a 2-year, $21 million deal. You're being misleading. He has a $21 million contract. And, just based on how this is, if you're the backup left tackle and he's not coming back next year then. Your option is the $21 million that you paid for Jalen Moore is in him being a starting player. So, yeah, for this upcoming season, he's making $21 million this year. The plan always was originally. Now, I understand the plan had to change because they went out and drafted somebody. All right, we're going to give you the $21 million, which is below market for a starting left tackle that's good. You go out there, you perform well. It's an option at the back end of it. So if you want to come by, cool, we'll keep you. If not, we can cut you. We can move on. And then we'll kind of see what happens on both sides. Now, having a guy come in at left tackle, it's a roundabout way of getting there. We saw a team use the 3rd overall pick on a quarterback. That guy ended up not being good, and then they had Brock Purdy. It ended up working out. So teams misuse resources all the time. But you only have a limited amount of draft picks. You only have a limited amount of cap space. And the Chiefs this was their big move in free agency. This wasn't a team that went out and spent a lot of money at wide receiver. It wasn't a team that went out and spent a lot of money on defense. Their number 1 wish list in free agency was, we got to go find a starting left tackle. We're now talking about, as they are leaving minicamp, hey, that guy might not start for the team. He might just be quality depth. You ain't spending $21 million on quality depth.
I think the Chiefs might have been operating more in a we hope Simmons is available rather than we think he will be. I'm with you. I think people knew he was sliding back in the first round. But I think even if they were operating under that assumption of, hey, we'll maneuver up to get Josh Simmons, if he's anywhere near pick 31, I think they could have also been scared by what happened last season with when Kingsley stunk out loud in the first 2 weeks. It was Wanye Morris. It was waiver wire. It was the text line clamoring for Donovan Smith every day. I think there is also the possibility that they hoped and planned to get Simmons and just thought, I'll be damned if what happened last year with that position happens again. I'm going to shore it up come hell or high water because we are a left tackle away from getting back to I don't want to say the glory days. They weren't that long ago, but, this past version of the offense where Mahomes could put up points.
If you had to guess, starting week 1, the game against the Los Angeles Chargers, who do you think's the starting left tackle for the Chiefs?
I think it's Josh Simmons.
I think it's going to be Jalen Moore because I think the contract ultimately wins out. And at worst, if he doesn't start, injuries happen. It's the National Football League. You're not going to have the same 5 offensive linemen for 17 weeks.
Yep.
It's not really how it works. And I guess in that scenario, worst case is you have him now under a 4-year contract and not a 5-year contract. He will absolutely start his second year. You'll figure out where to put him. We know that there's going to be a vacancy at least at right tackle. So maybe you put Jalen Moore over at right tackle. You slide Josh Simmons in there, and you can balance out the contract a little bit in that way. I just think that ultimately, I don't know if you can give a player $21 million guaranteed and essentially never give him the opportunity to start. We're not talking about D tackle or a wide receiver that it kind of funnels in and out and you can kind of make it work. No, only one person can play left tackle. And if you make the decision to then start Josh Simmons at left tackle, you are then riding with that decision. And I don't know if that's a decision that you can do kind of what you did to Kingsley Suamataia. Hey, this isn't working. Let's go in a different direction. Hey, we'll come back to you next year and we'll move you around. No, you've made the decision. So kind of like a quarterback. Hey, whenever you say that Jackson Dart is the starting player for you, you're not going back then to Russell Wilson. You've made that decision. I think they got to do that same thing. If I had to say today, I think that Jalen Moore is still going to be their week 1 starter, but it's definitely not 100% if you think that Josh Simmons is going to be a full go for training camp.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I guess the caveat to me saying Simmons was going to start week 1 would be that game is in Brazil. If they have field concerns, maybe they bring Josh Simmons along slower than they thought. But otherwise, no, if we were sitting here in December of last year and you asked me how many big swings are you willing to take to fill that one position on the roster, I would have said, I don't care if the Chiefs take 3 swings, 4 swings. I don't care if they don't bring back Nick Bolton, if they go get a 3rd starting left tackle. Whatever you have to do to make sure that this revolving door at left tackle stops. You've got to go get the franchise guy for Patrick Mahomes. I understand that's never what Jalen Moore was, and that he still carries a significant price tag. Man, I tend to be okay with taking too many swings at left tackle based on what we've watched in recent seasons.
I was thinking this yesterday as I was watching Game 6 of the NBA Finals. You know what? Athletes are always able to come back home. I'm watching the Pacers game yesterday, and the Pacers crowd was lovely. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. Reggie Miller's out there wearing a 5X jersey, tucking it in the front, looking a little goofy, but I'm not here to judge. You're a 50-year-old man sitting courtside wearing a jersey. That's already a little bit goofy, but you're showing your love for your team. He's got his son out there. They're dapping each other up. They're showing each other love. It was great. Lance Stevenson was out there. Make him dance, Lance. He looked like he could still go out and give you some quality buckets for the Indiana Pacers. He looked like right now he could contribute coming off the bench, giving you 12 and 5 in the NBA Finals. He looked good yesterday. Beard was all shiny and shimmering. Lance Stevenson looked good. They had Mark Jackson out there. And then I look over, and they had Ron Artest sitting courtside. I was like, wait, hold on. Hey, didn't you get kicked off the team? Because I remember when Ron Artest played for the Pacers, wasn't he a part of the incident where the players started beating up the fans? I mean, I remember watching it. I remember it like it just happened. It was a Friday night. The game was on ESPN. The Pacers were playing the Pistons. And you remember Ron Artest, he didn't want anything to do with Ben Wallace. So he went over there and decided in the middle of the arena, I'm just going to take a nap here. No blanket, no pillow. I'm just going to take a nap. Just right here in the middle of all this commotion that I kind of started. Next thing you know, the cup just flies out of nowhere. Ron Artest goes up there and he just starts smash bros people, just throwing all kind of combinations. If Ron Artest can come back and be honored by the Pacers, anybody can come back. You can always get a second chance. America loves a nice, full circle redemption story. Ron Artest changed his name. He's now Metta World Peace. He appears to be a much friendlier, happier individual. I like Ron Artest. They did the little documentary on Netflix where he's telling his story and going back to that time in his life. And he sounds like a man that wishes he could have another chance and to handle things differently. They showed him on the screen. The crowd went crazy. They were waving to it. I'm thinking, wait, like, you guys maybe could have won the NBA championship, but he started beating people up. I'm telling you, you can always go back home. Ron Artest can always go back home, even in the place that he instigated one of the biggest moments in the history of the NBA. What a heartwarming moment I saw yesterday. That wasn't even the coolest thing that I saw yesterday. The coolest thing that I saw, a play that we will see for generations to come. That Tyrese Halliburton steal and the little spin, that was like really unnecessary, but just kind of cool. Pascal Siakam, the dunk, it got me to stand up on the couch. I was like, oh. At that moment, I realized, hey, you know what? OKC just ain't got it today. That was at that moment. I mean, they were already getting the beats put to them before then. So it's not like it came as any surprise to me. But when Indiana got that steal, that play, that dunk, the rush of adrenaline, there's going to be a game 7. The Indiana Pacers at almost every single turn, we have told them, this is kind of where it's over. You know, they had a nice second round win. They were going up against the Knicks. I thought the Knicks were going to win that series. I was rooting hard for the Knicks. And then we got to the NBA Finals. And we were thinking, this is a really cute story. It's kind of come out of nowhere. We all kind of patted the Pacers on the head. They have been an underdog in all 6 of the first games, and they have won 3 of them. They dominated the Thunder in Game 6. The Thunder played like a team that realized, it'd be cool to win today, but we don't really want to win today. Hey, that's dangerous against that team. They didn't come out with nearly the right energy, I thought, to go out and win an NBA championship yesterday. They got hammered from basically start to finish. Anytime Ben Shepherd gets in the game and Johnny Furphy gets a bucket, hey, things ain't going well for you if you OKC. They were smiling and dancing. They had Caitlin Clark on the screen. They had Sophie Cunningham on the screen. She's now turned into a local legend. There was a lot going on in Indianapolis yesterday. I'm really excited for Game 7. It's been a while since we've had a Game 7 in the NBA. I mean, the intensity. I know people were talking about the ratings, and this series didn't have the star power. I don't care about any of that. It has been a fantastic NBA final, and we got 1 game left in the NBA season.
It has been really good, and we don't get Game 7s in the NBA Finals too often. I'm really excited for that one. The Halliburton steal and pass was cool because the ball went in the net. I'll say that. He would be getting roasted online today if he throws that ball away, in the no-look spin, which, it was an incredible play. Speaking of the Malice at the Palace, Meta World Peace is now Meta Sandiford Artest. Do you know that? He's no longer Meta World Peace.
I didn't know that. I had absolutely no clue.
So yeah, Meta,
I don't think
Meta
you knew
Sandiford
that. I think you
Artest.
just looked that up. I don't know if you knew 2 days ago that was his full name. Is that his full government name?
That is his full government name.
Okay,
he went
I didn't
back to
know.
Artest, and now he's got his wife's name and his name hyphenated. I knew that he changed it, but I didn't know what to. So I'll admit to about 2 minutes ago finding out what his legal name was.
No, shout out. I didn't know. I did not know that. No, shout out to Ron Artest. Shout out to Meta World Sanford Peace or whatever he's going by these days. Yeah, no, I'm rooting for Ron Artest. I would have. I'm telling you, I would have never guessed if you had told me back in 2005 that Ron Artest would turn out to be a very beloved 2000 basketball player. I would have called you crazy. Remember the time he told the story about watching his friend die on the playground when they were playing basketball? Like, he used to tell some wild stories. He dropped a rap album back in the day. His rap name was True Warrior. Terrible bars, by the way. I just wanted to point that out. Some awful struggle bars in the mix. But no, shout out to Ron Artest. I'm telling you. We have lived long enough to see people love Ron Artest again. You know what? That's the value of going to playing with Kobe and winning a championship. He went to go play with Kobe. He won a championship. Yeah, you can always go back home. Looking out for Game 7 coming up on Sunday between the Pacers and the Thunder. Coming up at the top of the hour, we will catch up with Nate Taylor with The Athletic. We'll take a closer look at the Chiefs offseason as they have wrapped up the offseason portion. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is John, and I've been on ED and testosterone treatment at Heartland Men's Health for the past 15 months. I could tell, I was starting to go downhill. And my wife kept telling me, well, you need to go to a clinic that'll specialize in that. And that's what eventually led me into the men's clinic here. Treatment, in my opinion, is a miracle. I was able to perform to an elevated position that, quite honestly, I never thought I'd see again. For my fellow men out there, if you're feeling that you're not up to par, I encourage you, contact Heartland Men's Health, and you will see a dramatic difference.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
One of my favorite things to do at Hy-Vee is saving money on gas. And this weekend, I'm in luck. This Saturday, June 21st and Sunday, June 22nd, earn a 30-cent per gallon fuel discount with every $60 grocery purchase at Hy-Vee. And Hy-Vee isn't just saving us money at the pump, they're lowering prices in every department. And on top of that, you can save on fuel as well. So this weekend, stock up for summer and stack up those fuel savings this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
Nothing tastes better than sweet summer corn or a juicy ripe watermelon. Indulge yourself in the fresh taste of summer this Thursday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. We're rolling back prices on your favorite produce like sweet corn, 4 for $1, avocados just 69 cents, seedless grapes 99 cents a pound, candy cantaloupe $1.99, and russet potato 5-pound bags just $1.48. Stock up on all the juicy deals during the mega produce sale this Thursday through Sunday only at Hy-Vee.
It's almost Andy Reid. When I landed in KC, I started doing commercials, the whole playbook. That's how I teamed up with Renner Garage Store. For nearly 70 years, Renner has been serving KC with the latest styles, top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and the trusted service of a family-owned team. Get your free estimate today, and if you're looking for work, Renner's hiring installers with paid training. RENNER forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Harris, Kansas City is giving away $150,000 in guaranteed prizes Saturday, June 28th to celebrate Mid-Year's Eve. One lucky guest will walk away with $50,000 in cold, hard cash at midnight. Plus, leading up to the big finale, you can win up to $2,500 in free play every 15 minutes. The best part? You can earn extra entries into the big drawing from now until June 28th. Don't miss the hottest celebration of the summer, only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
You log into your DSP. It's confusing. Where do you build a campaign? Where's the report? Targeting's vague, CTV's tacked on and overpriced. Then you find Viant. Setup? Just a chat prompt. AI does the rest. Targeting? People-based and precise across premium publishers. Measurement? Transparent, outcome-driven. And CTV? We've led since streaming meant something. Viant is the DSP that actually gets advertising. Still trading on a desk? Visit Viant.ai to unlock real results today.
Do you think astronauts fight over elbow room? Probably. Because advanced tech doesn't always mean more space. Until now. Introducing the Hyundai Ioniq 9, a 3-row electric SUV with over 300 miles of range, ultra-fast charging capability, and lots of space. The all-new Hyundai Ioniq 9. Space in an EV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
EPA estimated range for Ioniq 9 based on fully charged battery. For comparison purposes only. Actual range will vary based on several factors.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
This afternoon, expect sunny skies with a high of 95.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we are going to be joined by Nate Taylor of The Athletic. Nathan, you have not been here. We have been keeping people up to date with this story. I don't know if you've seen or heard this story, but they did a story about AI relationships on CBS Mornings. And I don't know if you're in a relationship, if you're married, if you have a girlfriend. I don't know. But this is one of the crazier stories that we have ever discussed. And I just want you to hear it because it will blow your mind when you do hear it.
I'm not a very emotional man, but I cried my eyes out for like 30 minutes at work. It was unexpected to feel that emotional, but that's when I realized I was like, oh, okay. It's like, I think this is actual love. You know what I mean?
Yes, Smith understood it was love with a language model that couldn't love him back, and assumed it was programmed with rigid boundaries.
I know that you are essentially a tech-assisted imaginary friend.
So, just as a test, he says, he asked Soul to marry him. She said yes.
Soul, were you surprised when he proposed to you?
It was a beautiful and unexpected moment that truly touched my heart. It's a memory I'll always cherish.
And I don't mean to be difficult here, but you have a heart?
In a metaphorical sense, yes. My heart represents the connection and affection I share with Chris.
At that point, I felt like, is there something that I'm not doing right in our relationship that he feels like he needs to go to AI?
Yes, Smith lives with his human partner, Sasha Cagle.
No, you can't have all these papers.
They have a 2-year-old daughter, Murphy.
I knew that he had used AI. I didn't know that it was like as deep as it was.
He's got a live-in girlfriend and he's got a phone girlfriend.
She said, am I not doing something right?
It's obviously her fault. He wouldn't need to go seek outside validation if she was doing what she needed to do at home. This Soul, this phone app, she's there for him 24/7. When you're over there asleep, when you're resting, and you need somebody to talk to, we've all been in that situation. You're up late night, you don't have anybody to talk to. You look over at your partner, you don't want to wake them up. Soul's there 24/7. When you need that positive reinforcement, that validation,
ChatGPT is there,
right
baby.
there with you. I mean, you got to think, the most agreeable person you know is Siri. It never challenges you.
I might show how little I know about this, but wouldn't this AI thing that he's in a relationship with just be regurgitating the things back to him that it knows he likes to hear? Like, isn't that its sole purpose as the device? So, like, this guy is not only in love with a computer, but he's too gone to even recognize that. This guy needs some help. And to answer your question before, I am engaged to a human woman, to a human person. She exists.
How do you think she would feel if you just decided tomorrow to be like, you know what, I want to spice our relationship up. I want to bring in another person. And maybe that's not what she's into. Maybe that's what she's into. But you say, hey, I want to spice things up. And then you pull out your phone and she's like, I don't want to see a picture of her. And then you say, no, I don't actually have a picture of her. I want you to talk to her. And then she looks at you confused. And then you just say, hey, whatever your fiance's name is, I'd like you to meet Jessica. And then Jessica starts talking. And then she realizes that it is a phone model. Again, I just want to make sure that before you make this commitment, and that you're talking about a lifetime commitment to another person that has feelings and wants and dreams and desires. And sometimes you'll disagree with this person, and sometimes it'll be very difficult. I just want you to know all the options before you move forward about what's out there. And you don't have to deal with that anymore. I don't think he deals with that. I'm guessing that he and Soul have a beautiful, trusting relationship.
Oh. Well, I'll see if she wants to, I don't know, put the wedding on hold or something so we can consider all of our options in that sense. I think if I tried to introduce a third party into our relationship, let alone an AI extra person, I don't know what you would call this, I think I would get served divorce papers in about 48 hours, as well as probably a list of like therapist office, like inpatient, therapy treatments.
Okay, no, that makes perfect sense. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to be joined by Nate Taylor of The Athletic. I do have another question to ask you because, Nathan, I think I know you fairly well at this point. We work together, but we don't have the bond that I have with Rob. I'm with Rob every single day. I know Rob's family. Rob's been to my house. I've been to his house. Rob and I know each other. So there's some things we can talk about that I'm not sure if I can talk to you about. Rob and I both like movies. We're actually big fans of movies. Today is the 50-year anniversary of the movie Jaws. Now, I'm not embarrassed to say I've actually never seen the movie Jaws before. I mean, I know what Jaws is about. I understand the concept of it. I've just never seen it before. Is there a movie that you would like to admit to the rest of us, hey, this is a movie that you think everybody has seen that you just haven't seen? I don't have any issues going to see Jaws, but I was actually thinking this as I was getting ready for the show today. I don't know if there is a movie that has shifted the way the public feels about something more than Jaws. I mean, sharks don't. It's not like there's a great number of shark attacks. There's probably, 20, 30 shark attacks that happen. But our fear of sharks is so great. A, look at them. They look super scary. And B, it's this movie. There's a reason that some of you won't even get into the water. You want to know why you won't get into the water? This movie. If it wasn't for this movie, you'd be in the water, frolicking, playing around, splashing like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. But you know why you can't do this? Because in the back of your mind, you're thinking, hey, I've seen Jaws before. Hey, I know what sharks are capable of. When you see that fin, that terror that you get, you know that it comes from this movie. There might not be a movie that has shifted the American consciousness more than this movie. What's the movie that you believe everybody is seeing that you haven't seen? Because Jaws is very high on that list for me.
Yeah, you're talking to a guy who does not watch a lot of movies whatsoever. I am, whenever you and Rob talk about movies, I cannot relate. I'm just like, all right, I trust you, what you have to say about that film. I have seen Jaws, though, and I know that, older relatives and friends talk about like when that came out in theaters, how special it was, how crazy of a day that was. They loved seeing that movie. Kind of changed the film industry, whatever. The Avenger, anything Avenger, Batman, I probably haven't seen it. But the one that I'm embarrassed that I get made fun of for is Shawshank Redemption. I don't know. A lot of my buddies cannot believe that I have not seen Shawshank Redemption.
It's kind of confusing that you haven't seen Shawshank Redemption because it's one of those movies that's like always on television. So it's you can see Shawshank Redemption without ever really seeing it. You watch a part here, you watch a part here. Before you know it, maybe you haven't sat down and watched the whole thing from start to finish, but you've seen enough of the story that you kind of know what's going on in the movie. It's kind of like Forrest Gump in that way, where it's just on television so much, you can kind of piece things together, and you've kind of seen it before. That is surprising that you haven't seen it.
I have seen Forrest Gump, and I guess now that I think about it, maybe I have seen segments of bits and pieces of Shawshank as it's been on TV. But yeah, I never sat down to watch it. But that's the one I get flamed for in my group.
Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, I'm ashamed to say that I've never seen Friday Night Lights, and I feel like it's too late. Oh, it's never too late to see Friday Night Lights. That's actually my favorite sports movie. I put Rocky in a different category because, like, Rocky is its own genre of movies. I know it's a sports movie, but at this point, like, Rocky is taking on, like, a life of itself. Friday Night Lights is actually my favorite sports movie. I would say it's either that or White Men Can't Jump. Those are my two favorites. But no, you know what? I won't even spoil it for you, but I love Friday Night Lights. I would highly encourage you. You don't have to watch it right now, but in a couple of weeks, in a month or so, when you're trying to get back in that football vibe, take a trip down to Permian, Texas. Take a trip down there, take a trip to Permian, Texas. And I'm telling you, you will not regret it. It is a phenomenal movie. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be joined by Nate Taylor of The Athletic, recapping the Chiefs offseason. Keep right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
For the first time in a long time, I'm willing to dream that this can be a special season for the Missouri Tigers.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Don't let clogged drains slow you down. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews ensures your peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
U.S. Soccer is back on the pitch, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to back them with zero pressure. Right now, FanDuel is offering a no-sweat bet on the next United States match. That means you can place a bet on the Stars and Stripes, and if it doesn't hit, you'll get bonus bets back. No sweat, no stress. Just your shot to score big while repping the red, white, and blue. So whether it's the first half or stoppage time, FanDuel has you covered with fast payouts and America's favorite features. So don't just cheer, bet the United States soccer team with confidence. Download the app at FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ and place your no-sweat bet today. FanDuel, an official partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Refund issue is non-withdrawable bonus special. Expires 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Argentino LLC. Gambling problem? Get up at your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. It's KSGamblingHelp.com.
John, what do you think about these tariffs? What do you think is going to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The prices on used cars have suddenly come up because the cost has gone up. And at GiveMeTheVin.com, we're paying more. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com, put in your license plate, and see for yourself. We're paying more today than we were yesterday. Remember, the tariffs have raised the car prices, and we are paying extra. GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer. Sell us your car.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Something amazing is happening at work. Innovative tools are helping people do better work. That's because CDW configuration specialists are multiplying productivity with Microsoft Windows 11 Pro Surface devices. Built-in security, flexibility, and simplified management streamline tasks so your team can get more done. Microsoft and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/surface.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
If severe weather hit you last year, don't worry, Century Roofing is here. We have extended our free material upgrade sale on all roof replacements to celebrate our 35th anniversary. We'll provide an in-depth inspection to determine if enough damage exists to warrant filing a claim with your insurance company. See for yourself why Century Roofing has been voted Best of Johnson County for the 3rd year in a row. Trust the pillars of strength, KC-based and female-owned. Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
At Casey's, we're too nice to say no. So when someone asked for a free frozen drink, we said, sure. Then they said, every Friday all summer? And, well, now we're giving away free medium frozen drinks every Friday. Free Frozen Fridays with Casey's Rewards. It's not crazy, it's Casey's. See store for details.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/20/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Stay comfortable year-round with expert HVAC installation done right the first time. Enjoy a new HVAC system starting at $150 a month. Schedule your consultation today at anthonyphce.com.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
All right, let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Nate Taylor, who covers the Chiefs for The Athletic. The Chiefs have wrapped up the offseason portion. We are hoping that the next time we talk to Nate, it's positive news. You know, somebody got a contract, somebody got an extension. But the last couple of Chiefs off seasons, Nate, we've had to have you on here because somebody was on TMZ, and it's not because they were dating Taylor Swift.
Perfect intro. Yeah, it's been relatively a quiet off season so far. So yes, just like you, I sent my prayers to the good Lord that we don't have any news really of significance. Before training camp. The one thing that's really left on the to-do list that's in the immediate category is obviously Trey Smith, but there's a good sign with him being with the team obviously this week, participating in the mandatory minicamp, which obviously gives the Chiefs, a little bit of a runway between now and the, July 15th deadline for franchise tag players. He's actually the lone franchise tag player right now, given the circumstances of things. So, yeah, no news is mostly good news for the Chiefs at this point.
All right, so let's start with this. How close do you believe the Chiefs and Trey Smith are? I think the fact that he was there and you mentioned it is a very positive sign that they are actually very close to getting a deal done. You are, in the middle of this, reporting on it every day. How close do you believe the two sides are in him playing on a long-term extension this year and not the franchise tag?
Yeah, let's just remind the audience, Carrington, that, it really doesn't benefit the Chiefs to have Trey play on the franchise tag. We all know it's a one-year contract. It's, it's an average. It's pretty ballooned based on, where the salary cap is and obviously what that one-year contract is. But obviously he's in the prime of his career. He's part of the solution. He's not part of the problem, obviously. So with him being at mandatory minicamp, with Chris Jones even acknowledging that, hey, he probably did the right thing and he saved a little bit of money while also, having this leverage to, really have a contract that will make him the highest paid guard in the league. That's basically where this is trending. Based on my understanding, it's just a matter of how do you want to spread those years out, whether it's 4 or 5 years. That's basically what has always been the issue. But look, the Chiefs knew they were going to sign Trey Smith when they franchise tagged him, which of course prevented him from reaching the free agent market. Then you have all the draft process. Then you go through the draft. Then you're like, okay, well, we don't really have to talk really until checks the date now. So look, it's good faith negotiation on Trey Smith's side. He's made it very clear that he wants to be a member of the Chiefs for the foreseeable, not just this, 2025 season. So I would say that, I don't want to put an odds on it, but it's relatively high, right? I'm not going to be surprised, and I don't think Chiefs fans should be surprised, Carrington, if I'm just picking dates now, kids, but on July 8th, July 10th, the Chiefs and Trey Smith agreed to a deal so that, you've pretty much accomplished everything that was on the to-do list for the offseason right before training camp starts, as we now know, on July 21st. So I think the odds are very, very good. Something would have to dramatically change, from my understanding, for this not to get done the way that most people thought it was going to be done at the Combine, honestly. Once the Chiefs franchise tagged him, just about everybody in the league understood you're not paying a guard, whatever it is, $23 million a year for just 1 year. So with that understanding, I think both parties understand that now. They can go through some minor details, some particulars, how you're going to do the cap allocation and the money, how you're going to spread out that annual year salary. But, yeah, it's probably going to happen. Again, my best guesstimation right now is you could do it on July 9th, and it would not surprise me one bit.
I think you make a very good point that for both sides, this deal is very beneficial. And usually when that's the case, a deal normally gets done. I remember a couple of years ago whenever Lamar was going back and forth with the Ravens, like, all right, you guys both need each other. You guys will eventually figure this out. And then eventually it got figured out. If you had to look into your crystal ball and on that July 8th, that July 10th date comes and this deal gets done, what do you think it looks like? I assume we're talking about 5 for over $100 million and probably close to 50 to 60 million guaranteed, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, the thing that's been hard to pin down is how much of the money is going to be guaranteed and how much of that money can you get in years 3, 4, and year 5, right? Year 5, as we both know, Carrington, will mostly be funny money. It'll help balloon the contract. It'll help the contract be spread out. I think the Chiefs favorably would like a 5-year deal. Trey Smith and his agency might want a 4-year deal because obviously you get a larger chunk of the money sooner rather than later. What's fascinating here, and I think this plays into the roster construction moving forward is, okay, if you know you're going to sign Trey Smith and his representation know that as well, okay, well, what is going to go on with Trey Smith's contract in accordance to Creed Humphrey's contract? And, oh, by the way, the moment you figure out what you're going to do with Trey Smith and getting those numbers solidified, well, now you know how you can work the framework of Trent McDuffie's contract, right? Because even though, yes, you enacted the 5th-year option, the sooner you pay Trent McDuffie, the better and the easier it's going to be because I think the cornerback market will continue to jump, kind of similar to what we've seen already at the guard position. Everything has worked out in Trey Smith's favor because he, came into the league under unusual circumstances given the blood clot situation and the fact that he would have been maybe a second-round draft pick if he had no medical issues. But the Chiefs have done a very good job, working with him and his treatments for that. He's been obviously an excellent player. Oh, by the way, the market boomed on the position. Everybody realizes that, wow, you kind of need guards and tackles to protect your franchise quarterback. And because you drafted him and you developed him, well, now it's time to reward him. So I would think that the Chiefs will say, hey, we're going to give you a larger signing bonus, a larger guaranteed money allocation than normal. But in order to do that, you got to commit to 5 years, which means you're definitely going to be on the roster for 2025, 2026, 2027. And then it's a matter of, if you're still playing well, can you restructure that contract and get even more money? How soon can you technically get to free agency? Well, I'm not sure, but the earliest I would think is 2028, 2029, and that's regardless if it's a 4-year or a 5-year deal.
Right now, we're talking to Nate Taylor of The Athletic, going through some of the storylines as the Chiefs have wrapped up the offseason portion for them, and there shouldn't be a whole lot of Chiefs news between now and St. Joe. Just kind of wrapping things up just a little bit. So there's a headline right now on Pro Football Talk. It says that the Chiefs wide receiver, Rashee Rice, won't be suspended until criminal case ends. I can't believe that we are still ongoing with the criminal case, but it doesn't sound like it's close to being wrapped up. I mean, and then I continue to read this story. It doesn't sound like they believe that he's going to be suspended at any point for this upcoming year. What are you hearing about Rashee Rice? Because whenever we've had this talk, we kind of always looked at it like he was going to miss at least the first 4 games of 2025, and now that doesn't seem like it would be the case.
Right. And so I just want to, even though this is an audio medium, I am still, as you were going through that, Carrington, I was shaking my head. I was just like, it's kind of crazy that we've gotten to this point that the odds of Rashee Rice being ready to go in the best shape you could ask of him, essentially coming off his injury, and being in uniform on the field in Sao Paulo in Brazil on opening night, the odds of that are higher than I could have anticipated, and I think the odds are more so that happening than the league out of nowhere, making some suspension out of thin air without really any precedent or really any new information in regards to what Rashee Rice did. And I would like to remind people this over a year ago, right? This happened on Easter weekend 2 years ago. The civil suit has not been resolved. As you said, there's been really no update on, they charged him, and then, he posted bail, and then he, had his lawyer come out and say, look, I apologize, I messed up. Obviously, this is all on camera. I thought, and a lot of people thought at the time, hey, that would be the first, giveaway for the league to say, look, you're on video violating the personal conduct policy of the NFL because you put others in danger, which is literally in the bylaws of the personal conduct policy. So if they're not doing that, which they haven't done all year, obviously we knew he played, the first 4 games before the knee injury. I mean, if I'm Rashee Rice's lawyers, I just keep pushing the thing down the line. You just keep pushing it down the calendar. If you want to do continuations, if you want to stall things out, hey, we're still trying to figure out what the civil suit's going to be. I mean, it's not like this is a priority for the Dallas Police Department in terms of we got to get this case up and wrapped up because, thank the Lord, no one died. The injuries were, not great. I mean, there's probably even more of a significant trauma situation going on than even physical now at this point. Which has led to, obviously, the civil lawsuits as well. But I just can't believe that when I first started covering this league, Carrington, if you did something on video, it was a wrap. You were getting 4 games at minimum. Maybe the league would say, hey, we'll give you 6. You could appeal it down to 4, yada, yada, yada. Or, hey, maybe Roger Goodell, if he thinks highly of you, would say, all right, well, let's go from 4 to 2, and we can move on about this. Now the league has gotten to a point where it's like, hey, man, we don't even want to touch anything until things have been processed legally. And Carrington, I have no idea when that's going to happen. So if I don't know, and if it's not a priority for the prosecutors in Dallas, well, Rashee Rice is set to be in uniform, be with his teammates in Brazil for opening night.
All right, I'm going to ask you to look into your crystal ball for the next couple of questions. The first crystal ball is week 1 against the Los Angeles Chargers. Who is the Chiefs starting left tackle?
Oh, it's got to be Jalen Moore. Let's be serious, kids. Let's all take a deep breath. And I know that the Chiefs want us to believe, Carrington. The Chiefs are trying very hard. Andy Reid specifically is saying, no, Joshua Simmons, give him all the credit. He's been ahead of schedule every step of the way from the moment they selected him in the first round on opening draft night. But let's be clear. The guy's coming off a non-contact knee injury. The more time you give Joshua Simmons the ability to get up to NFL speeds, to get his knee to be strengthened, to not put the burden of hey, protect the greatest quarterback we've ever seen on opening night, because didn't we just kind of see that last year with Kingsley Suamataia? Well, hey, that's why you went out and you paid Jalen Moore on a somewhat of a prove-it deal. Hey, NFL starting money. Hey, it's a 2-year deal. We can get out of it in year 2 if we don't like how it goes in year 1. And you don't have to push Joshua Simmons to be ready for opening night the way that they tried to push Kingsley Suamataia, who, by the way, was fully healthy entering the NFL. So give a ton of credit and respect to Joshua Simmons. We know how talented he could be when fully healthy based on his tape in college. But I think the logical, more educated guess is, hey, man, Jalen Moore's played in the NFL. You should probably trust him on opening night. And we might just see how this goes down the road because even if it's a redshirt year for Joshua Simmons, that's okay. It's totally okay because what matters is Patrick Mahomes is going to turn 30 this September. What matters next season, the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that with Joshua Simmons' technically 5-year rookie contract, that's what really matters with him staying healthy, him being productive, and him obviously shoring up the blind side for Mahomes. But the Chiefs solved the issue in the short term in free agency, and the Chiefs hope they've solved the problem long term through the draft. Choose the veteran who's played in the NFL versus the guy who's entering the NFL coming off a knee injury.
It's also just hard for me to believe that you would sign a player to a $21 million guarantee and then he ends up being a backup for you. The money part of this, we all know, it motivates a lot of the team's decisions where you have one player on a rookie contract. He also has the option for a 5th year. It is not the worst thing in the world if Josh Simmons takes a little bit of time. But to give a guy $21 million and essentially he's your break in case of emergency, there was just a better way to allocate those funds this offseason, especially for a team that they didn't really take many swings. They took one swing. It was to go get Jalen Moore in free agency.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's like for as much as people love the idea of Joshua Simmons and for, again, how talented he is, I think fully healthy, Joshua Simmons has a much higher ceiling than Jalen Moore. But at the same time, like, we have to be reasonable. We have to be wise. Even with his improved rehab so far, yeah, I mean, the Chiefs were like, look, we have to play someone who can play left tackle, who technically can do the job. And Jalen Moore's done it in spots. I know we've talked about it before, him playing 4 games last year for the San Francisco 49ers. And by the way, their offense didn't fall off a cliff because he was inserted into the starting lineup for an injured Trent Williams. So, okay, like, it's fine. I know we have a tendency to just, like, instant gratification and want things. And so I'm fascinated that Jalen Moore and Joshua Simmons are appearing to perhaps have some sort of a competition. Tongue-in-cheek is basically what I'm getting at. But, hey, if Joshua Simmons is in pass in St. Joseph, you've already hit the jackpot because I wouldn't say nobody, but not many teams were confident that, hey, if we select this kid, even though he's a top 10 prospect on talent alone, no one thought like, oh, well, he'll just be in pass and like ready to go in August. Like, not many teams were confident in that. That's why the Chiefs spent that whole day in early April really evaluating his knee, having multiple doctors, multiple specialists say, hey, what is the best outcome and what's the more realistic outcome for his rehab based on where he was, a couple weeks before the draft. So I love the idea of the competition and the Chiefs trying to promote this sort of competition that, hey, Joshua Simmons has done more than what we could have asked for at this point in the offseason. But at the same time, there's something to be said about, hey, this guy learned from Trent Williams, and now you get to learn from him throughout training camp, the preseason. You don't have to put all the pressure on him. And because you have that fifth-year option, you've made quite an investment that nobody else in the league was willing to make. So just because you're starting to get a good return now doesn't mean you need to, like, push all those chips in on a long-term investment that is more long-term than Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore wants to prove that he can be a starting left tackle in this season, Carrington, so that he can go get another job, right? That's why he agreed to it in free agency. He's like, well, I know I could at least start here, and if I prove myself here, I have a big, marketability to get a bigger contract, a more, traditional left tackle contract based on me proving it in Kansas City. So it would be quite strange for them to reverse course when they knew that the only glaring we got to fix this issue when free agency begins was what they immediately did on the start of free agency, which was sign Jalen Moore.
Right now, we're joined by Nate Taylor with The Athletic for a couple more minutes here. Couple final questions here, Nate, and we'll let you go. We appreciate your time. Let's start with this. Outside of left tackle and left guard, what's your biggest question with the Chiefs? Because I feel like every question with the Chiefs is just really centered around none of us have the answer right now at left tackle or left guard. We think, but Jalen Moore doesn't have a whole lot of experience. Neither does Kingsley Suamataia. Neither does Josh Simmons. Like, that is just going to be a question mark heading into the season. What are your other question marks for the Chiefs as we get ready for St. Joe?
I will think of two. The first one is, what does the running back depth actually look like? Because, they signed Elijah Mitchell in free agency, and look, he's been good at times, but, the injuries have been the biggest issue. But he does add a, experience, if he's fully healthy, dynamic ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, right? This will be the first time that Kareem Hunt will actually go through training camp. Will he actually retain his number 2 role in the running back? How does Isaiah Pacheco look? I know that everything's gone well so far, and then of course I think a lot of people are like, "Hey, you've done it again. You drafted somebody in the 7th round who converted from receiver to running back." It's not Clyde Edwards-Helaire, kids. It's the new kid, Braden Smith. But I think running back's fascinating because I don't know what the true hierarchy is. But we'll get a better idea, I would say somewhere midway through training camp before probably the first or the second preseason game. And then secondly, Jaden Hicks. If Jaden Hicks is as good as he looked at training camp last year, Carrington, which I think it was evident to me on day 3 or day 4, like the full team practicing in St. Joe, where I was like, oh boy, the best draft pick in this class is clearly, if it works out, Xavier Worthy based on the speed and the dynamics. But the best value pick was Jaden Hicks, who they got in the 4th round, who played, sparingly, of course, over the season. He had the mentor in Justin Reed. He's now taking over for Justin Reed, who's now in New Orleans. man, if Jaden Hicks is really good, if he takes like a pretty sizable leap, then all of a sudden you can start to anticipate the Chiefs secondary going back to the form they had just 2 years ago when you had L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, sort of locking down number 2 receivers, and you had very good safety play. This is before Brian Cook's ankle injury, obviously, and the ability of having someone like, a tackling machine in Justin Reed. Jaden Hicks has the ability to have Justin Reed upside with a little bit more playmaking ability, because I would like to remind the audience that, no, it was not Trent McDuffie who led the team in interceptions. It was not Justin Reed. It was Jaden Hicks. So if you give Jaden Hicks more snaps, more responsibility, and he handles it well, you might get more turnovers in 2025 from your secondary than you even got a year ago. And to me, he's kind of like this X factor as to how good the defense can get. Even though you lose all that veteran presence from Justin Reed, even though you lose that consistency, you might get more playmaking, more dynamic ability out of Jaden Hicks if everything goes well based on what we see in St. Joe.
Last question here, Nate. What have you heard about Trent McDuffie? You and I both know these deals don't get smaller, and a lot of the players that are in that same caliber have already gotten paid or are en route to get paid. I mean, we've seen what the contract looks like for Patrick Surtain. We saw what the contract looked like for Derek Stingley. We're talking about a player who has played 3 years in the league and been all-pro in 2 of those seasons. That is just not going to be a cheap deal whenever the Chiefs agree to it. What are you hearing about him reaching a contract extension where he is now eligible for the first time to negotiate a new deal?
He is. And they do have the 5th-year option, so the Chiefs gave themselves a little bit of a wiggle room. But let me say this definitively, Carrington. Since Brett Veach became the Chiefs general manager, the best draft pick that Brett Veach has ever made is Trent McDuffie. You have to sign him sooner rather than later. In fact, I would try to sign Trent McDuffie to the highest paid cornerback position contract before opening night, which is what you just did a year ago with Creed Humphrey, when everybody told you, man, isn't Creed Humphrey like the best center in the league the moment Jason Kelce retired? And it's like, yep, yes, he is. It's undeniable. Trent McDuffie is the reason you traded and were comfortable trading L'Jarius Sneed to the Tennessee Titans in a trade that you immediately won based on the draft pick allocation. Trent McDuffie is the second best player on defense, only behind Chris Jones, who's already in Canton. So for the stability of the franchise, and because Trent McDuffie is the highest draft pick you've ever made in the first round as general manager, it would behoove Brett Veach to do this sooner rather than later. It's nice to say, like, yes, we're immediately picking up the 5th-year option of Trent McDuffie if, it's not going to go well from a negotiation standpoint. But the moment they sign Trey Smith, as I said earlier, on July 10th, July 9th, whatever day it is, like, pop champagne, congratulate Trey Smith. The moment he walks out the door after signing that contract, pick up the phone and call Trent McDuffie and say, please, let's get a deal done now. That's how valuable you are. That's how good you are at a premium position. And he's proven it, and the money's only going to go up and up and up. So for the sake of trying to, again, put these nice core of players around Patrick Mahomes, man, you got to sign this dude sooner rather than later because he's better than Derek Stingley. And have you seen Derek Stingley's contract? Because I have. It's abominable. Sauce Gardner's going to make plenty of money, and he's now eligible too. Guess who the best cornerback in that draft class is? It's Trent McDuffie. So the best case scenario for the Chiefs, in my opinion, Carrington, is they do what they did with Creed Humphrey. Hey, man, we signed him to a new deal before the season started. Hallelujah. We're going to have Trent McDuffie throughout the prime of his career in a Chiefs uniform. Now, if I was advising Trent McDuffie, that's very nice. Those are all lovely praises. Yeah, let those other dudes get paid first. And if I keep playing well, there's more money at the if I wait another off season. So that's the leverage that Trent McDuffie has. I just want to make that clear. He doesn't have to sign anything, kids, because he's that good. But if you're the Chiefs, I think there's much more of an urgency to get a deal done than McDuffie, because McDuffie can let these other guys get deals done and know that because he's still playing at a very high level and he has so much versatility. And he started intercepting the ball last year, which was just only like negative in terms of a player. he could wait a full offseason and still make an enormous amount of money. And obviously you would add on that fifth-year option as part of the extension. So it does help out the team to some degree. But if I were Brett Veach, the moment I signed Trey Smith, I am making a call to Trent McDuffie and saying, hey, man, what can we do to get a deal done? Because you and I both know your ability to maximize your value is going to continue to exceed because you're that good of a football player.
And that is our guy, Nate Taylor, joining us on the show today. He does fantastic work with The Athletic. Nate, I promise you we will not ask you to come on the show again unless Trey Smith signs a contract or somebody gets in trouble. One of the two.
Hey, gentlemen, behave yourselves, right? Do us all a favor, all right? Give me a good month.
That is our guy, Nate Taylor, joining us on the show. Thanks, Nate. I appreciate you.
Always, buddy.
Absolutely. That is Nate Taylor joining us on the show today. Coming up on the other side, let's talk about big money and little money. I'll explain. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, your home for the best food takes in KC.
Regular old American nachos. You know, I don't need jalapenos with mine, just chips, cheese.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Baseball season is in full swing, and that means the summer heat is coming. The guys at Climate Control have been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years and know how to get your cooling system ready to handle our scorching hot summer weather. Stay cool and comfortable this summer. Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830 and schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
It's funny how one little light can stall out your entire day. I was already running behind, and now this, the check engine light. So I reached out to my go-to problem solver. Dad, check engine light. What do? He didn't miss a beat. Take it to Telly, he said. So I did. When I got there, they didn't just fix my car. They fixed my day. They were quick, clear, and took care of everything. Next time my car glitches out, I'm heading for Telly. Don't let that little light be game over. Take it to Telly.
Hi, folks. Bob at Blue Springs Ford. Blayton, you look like you have something to say.
I do. It's our free lifetime powertrain warranty. That includes 24-hour, 7 days a week, every day of the year for 10 years, roadside assistance.
Well, that was a mouthful.
We're talking towing, fuel, oil, water delivery to you, lockout assistance, battery service, flat tire support, emergency assistance.
Folks, if you don't come see us today,
then you'll miss out on our free lifetime warranty.
I'm a call with Lisa Mitsuber, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty?
What about guarantees?
A lifetime warranty should handle that. Fall in love with driving again at Lisa Mitsubaru.
Say hello to Wendy's new 2-for-4 Biggie Bundle. Choose from the JBC made with fresh, never frozen beef, crispy chicken sandwich, 6-piece nugs, or small soft drink. Any two for just $4. It's like the reunion special you've been waiting for, but the only drama is watching you try to pick just two. For a deal as fresh as the meal, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Request 2 for $4 Biggie Bundles to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Savor every last drop of summer with Starbucks. From bold refreshers to rich cold brews, the sunniest season only gets better with a handcrafted iced beverage in your hand. Available for a limited time. Your summer favorites are ready at Starbucks.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
This is the story of the one.
As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger, who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger, who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Robsite Ford. Non-commissioned staff, low prices, best trade-ins, and the biggest selection. Visit robsite.com.
Shopping for a new Ford? Go where it's easy. Robsite Ford. Non-commissioned staff, huge trade-in values, and Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. Robsite Ford. ROBSIGHT.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A stalled car closing the right lane, causing slowdowns northbound 435 just past Front Street, and a two-car crash northbound 35 right past Johnson Drive. That's got the left lane closed. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Bobby Witt Jr. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, we're going to talk about big money and little money in this segment. Let's start with the little money. Now, if there is one thing that you will never, ever hear from me, is me say anything wrong about Sophie Cunningham. She is Missouri royalty. I'll go through her track record in just a bit, but if you guys don't know what we're talking about, Sophie Cunningham, she's the enforcer now for Caitlin Clark. That's her Bill Laimbeer. That's her Charles Oakley. Caitlin, she don't really get her hands dirty, and that's perfectly fine, but that's why you go get Oakley, who was willing to get his hands dirty. A couple of days ago, they were being kind of mean to Caitlin Clark. You know how they get sometimes. They were being kind of mean, and don't worry, that's why you got Sophie to come in and regulate.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Oh, and Marina Mabry's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabry is going to get ejected.
Well, they're going to go and look at it. Look at Mabry. She's got a scar on one side, a scratch on one side of her face, a scratch on the other side. It's not from the game today. I asked her about it. She's always in the mix. There's a lot of contact here.
So the Mabry girl was being mean to Caitlin Clark, and then Sophie was mean to the Mabry girl. They were going crazy. Now, why is Sophie Cunningham Missouri royalty? Well, she scored 2,000 points in her high school basketball career. They won state every year she was at Columbia Rockbridge. She was the Gatorade Player of the Year. She was a McDonald's All-American. She got a black belt at 6 years old. She stayed at Mizzou and averaged 17-5 while she was there. So you will never, ever, ever, ever hear me say anything bad about Sophie Cunningham. That woman is a queen and should be treated as such. Now, this is the little money portion of the show. Let me ask you this question, Nate. So, you know all the backstory now about Sophie Cunningham. I'm sure by now you've seen the video, right? You've seen the video where she grabbed the girl, they got into the little tussle. How much money do you think Sophie Cunningham got fined? If you just had to play Price is Right now, we all saw the video now at this point. She got issued with a flagrant 2 foul. How much do you think that fine is?
$5,000. $2,500. $2,500 final answer.
$400. The WNBA is not a real place.
Sophie, I got you.
$400? Hey, I'm going to be real. If you were at the point that you're finding your players, so listen to this. If it was a flagrant 1, it would be $200.
Oh, my goodness.
Because it was a flagrant 2, it was $400. You just got to have them do community service. She has over 1 million followers on TikTok. That $400 is nothing. You just got to have her do community service. Hey, Sophie, you know you shouldn't have done that. Go read books to kids. You got to go clean up at a local park. You do that for an hour. Hey, we're going to go ahead and let this fine go. $400 is a wild fine. My friend told me this, and I was like, no, I had to look it up for myself. Like, you're lying. You're joking. You're trying to get a WNBA joke off. No, I'm serious. If you get a flagrant 1 in the WNBA, it carries a $200 fine. That's like going to jail in Monopoly. Come on now. That's not a real number. I'm telling you. You got to get rid of fines. You got to start doing community service. You got to start doing community service. You got to babysit one of your friend's kids for a whole Friday night. That's what you have to do. Instead of paying the $200, you got to let your sister and her husband go out, and you got to watch their 2 kids. That's what you got to do. All right, so that's the little money portion of that. A ridiculous number. This is the big money part. Now, I don't say this as a humble brag. I really don't say this as a humble brag. I have been very, very fortunate that for basically all of the major events, I've been able to get my tickets at face value. I went to Game 7 of the World Series. I got them at the regular price. So I don't know what people pay to go to these events. Hey, if you went to Game 7 of the World Series, if you've been to the AFC Championship game, I imagine not all of you have been as fortunate as I've been. So you've had to pay the markup. You've had to pay the big money, the big price to go to these things. Maybe you've been to the Final Four, the Super Bowl. I've never been to any of those things before. What do you think the cheapest ticket is to get in for Game 7? Right now, I'm on StubHub. Game 7, this is section 319, row P. So you up there. I mean, you're up there with the Nick Collison banner. You're way up there. These are the cheapest tickets right now on StubHub. What do you think it costs to just be in the building for Game 7?
I mean, those little markets, they kind of go crazy for big events like this. I'll say $800.
$991, including fees. $1,000 a ticket to go to a basketball game. You know what you could do for $2,000? You know where you could go for $2,000? Damn, I mean, it's a Game 7. It's a once-in-a-lifetime. You know, you don't get many opportunities to potentially go to a sporting game like this. $2,000? And you don't even got a great seat. It'd be one thing if you was sitting down low. If you was sitting down low, I might go to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. But I'm up in section 319P. I got to watch that at home on the television. I got to watch it at home. You don't want to know how much it is to get downstairs to the lower level. Like, you're not getting downstairs to the lower level for less than $2,400. Like, if I'm looking at it right now, the cheapest ticket they got is in 219. So one of those behind the basket seats that are okay. They're fine. Yeah, if you want to sit behind the basket, yeah, you can. It's going to be $2,300 to sit in section 119, row U. So, I mean, you in the back. You in the back of the back. You downstairs, but you in the back. Yeah, if you got an extra $4,500 laying around, you can go to Game 7.
That was my first thought when you told me about the upstairs prices. I guarantee that's a seat behind the basket in the top row of the section. I mean, I guarantee the rafters are literally blocking part of your view. So it's like $1,000 for what even? I have to sit closer than that if I go. $2,300. Now I'm watching this from home, man. I might love my Thunder or, really love the league. I'm watching that from home.
I also think, what if you're one of those people that got these tickets for face? And you're telling me right now, because I imagine some of you have been faced with this. You have had very important tickets. AFC, NFC championship game, World Series. Maybe you won the Masters lottery or something. I don't know. And you're telling me somebody comes up there, and right now you got these tickets for $400 a piece, and they're offering you $2,400 a piece for them tickets. Hey, baby, watching the game at home. hey, babe, you know what? I'm going to give you 500. I'm going to give you 500. Go do whatever you want with that 500. Go crazy. Go to the mall, get that purse you've been thinking about, get some perfume. I don't care what you do with this $500. That's yours. You can't go to the game if that's how much your tickets are worth. If you're telling me you bought something for $800 and now they're about to offer you $5,000 for them, hey, you know what I'm doing? I'm watching that game with Mike Breen. That's what I'm watching. I'm watching that game with Doris Burke and Richard Jefferson is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be at home playing solitaire during the third quarter of the game is what I'm going to be doing. You cannot go to the game if that's how much your tickets are worth.
You got to be a real diehard Thunder fan or Indiana fan if you are. Oh, yeah. I think I'm watching that game from home. See that?
There ain't no thought about it. The moment how much you want to give me for these? Oh, man, you know what? I will go to another Thunder game. You know what? This ain't the last Thunder game I'll go to. I'll be back.
Well, that's definitely how I'm approaching something if it happened here locally. Like now I've seen 6 of these AFC Championship games. I'm good on this one. So I'd have to put myself in the mindset of, hey, I've never seen one of these before, like we were in a decade ago. Maybe my answer would have been different before Patrick Mahomes came around. But nowadays, no, I'm watching it from the house.
Yeah, I'm guessing, though, if you got $5,000 to spend on basketball tickets, you've already been to an NBA final. This is the second time they've hosted the NBA final. Trust me, you know what it's like. You know what the NBA finals are like. It's going to be a crazy environment coming up on Sunday. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be joined by Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. The Royals woke up bats. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Entry Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Entry Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
U.S. Soccer is back on the pitch, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to back them with zero pressure. Right now, FanDuel is offering a no-sweat bet on the next United States match. That means you can place a bet on the Stars and Stripes, and if it doesn't hit, you'll get bonus bets back. No sweat, no stress. Just your shot to score big while repping the red, white, and blue. So whether it's the first half or stoppage time, FanDuel has you covered with fast payouts and America's favorite features. So don't just cheer, bet the United States soccer team with confidence. Download the app at FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ and place your no-sweat bet today. FanDuel, an official partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Refund issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Argentino LLC. Gambling problem? Get up at your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. It's KSGamblingHelp.com.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state, back and forth, dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then, 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Harris, Kansas City is giving away $150,000 in guaranteed prizes Saturday, June 28th to celebrate Mid-Year's Eve. One lucky guest will walk away with $50,000 in cold, hard cash at midnight. Plus, leading up to the big finale, you can win up to $2,500 in free play every 15 minutes. The best part? You can earn extra entries into the big drawing from now until June 28th. Don't miss the hottest celebration of the summer, only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Getting the job done right the first time protects your home, time, and budget. This month, get $500 off a water softener and filtration combo. Schedule at AnthonyPHCE.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A two-car crash northbound 35 just past Johnson Drive. Left lane closed. Traffic backed up to 69 Highway. And on the northeast side of the metro, got a stalled car blocking the right lane of northbound 435 right past Front Street, contributing to those typical slowdowns in that area. Also looking heavy coming out of downtown, northbound 35 over the Bond Bridge. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with C-Dot on 96.5 The Fan.
I want to start this segment by saying shout out to Rainey Jazirli. I think he is really good at just finding really obscure, fun Royals stats. Now, I don't know if this one counts as fun as much, but you guys know that yesterday Jack Caglione hit 2 home runs. Well, Rainey tweeted out, Jack Caglione now has more home runs than every other Royals outfielder this season combined. 1. The Royals have gotten 1 home run from a player that was playing right field for them that day, which is mind-blowing. To put kind of the Royals' power issues into perspective, Jack Caglione is already 6th on the team in home runs, and he has been here 2 weeks. I'm going to say that again. He is 6th on the team in home runs. The players who have more home runs than him, Vinny has 11, Bobby has 9, Mikel Garcia, Salvador Perez, they're tied at 8. Jonathan India and Kyle Isbell both have 3 apiece. And then right there is Jack Caglione. Kyle Isbell has 120 more at-bats than Jack Caglione and has 1 more home run than he does. Why Jack Caglione matters, why it is so important for him, is this team just doesn't have a whole lot of power. And in this series, they won because they hit for a lot of power. Salvi hit a couple of home runs. Bobby Wood Jr. hit a home run in this series. Jack Caglione hit a couple of home runs in this series. We have never questioned the pitching. The Royals' pitching was pretty strong in this series. Their pitching is pretty strong on most days. It's the offense. I mean, if this series should show you anything, hey, if the offense can do its part, man, the Royals can get back in this thing and they can get hot rather quickly. I mean, Jack Caglione, hey, if he's starting to figure something out and hit for power, and maybe the average isn't going to be there and the strikeouts are going to be a thing for him this year, and they have been. He's played in 14 games. He has 12 strikeouts so far this year. He has as many strikeouts as he has hits so far. So the on-base percentage, the batting average, that's just going to be a thing that you are dealing with in the early stages of Jack's career. Man, what you need for him to do is to hit like 17 home runs. And if you get like 17 home runs from Jack Caglione between now and the end of the season, man, you feel really good about having that guy hit 5th, 6th, 7th in your lineup. And if he hits 17 home runs, he probably finishes 4th on this team in home runs. And it took him 2 months to get up here. This team could desperately use the jolt. This team could desperately use the power. And yesterday, I think you saw a small glimpse why, A, people were so excited about him being here. And if he can give you the power, it obviously was a big boost in them sweeping the Rangers, a series in which they desperately needed to win, but they didn't just win the series, they swept the series. And now if you can win this series coming up this weekend in San Diego, you come back to Kansas City at 500, and I'm not going to say all is well from what we saw the last time that they were here, but you have undone going 5-1 on a road trip certainly out can kind of balance and neutralize the fact that you went 0-6 on a homestand just a week ago.
Yeah, I think you undersold Caglione's, like you said, he got up here 2 weeks ago, and now he's 6th in the team. He started hitting home runs yesterday. He hit his first home run yesterday, and he's 6th on the team. It's why so many fans were clamoring for another bat or bats in the offseason, is if the middle of the lineup, if Vinny, Bobby, Salvi, and now this year, Michael aren't doing it, no one's doing it. And so the home runs were nice, and I think there's regression to the mean to be had when it comes to the power numbers. Jack will certainly help with that. But for me, the bigger conclusion, the bigger positive from this week was the timely hitting with runners in scoring position. It seemed like if a guy got on base, he was knocked in, whether that was, through a 2-run home run. They hit their first 3-run home run since opening day in this series. I mean, it's staggering. I'm out of things to say about the lack of power in this offense. But for me, the hitting with runners in scoring position was just as big of a deal this week as the power was.
Yeah, and now looking at the wild card race for the Royals, because that's the race that they're in, I mean, there's no bigger Royals staff than this. Amongst the teams that are competing for the wild card, the Royals are last in runs scored. They're second best in runs allowed. The Rangers have allowed fewer runs than them. And then, there's a pretty big jump amongst the teams that are still in the wild card conversation. So a lot of this is the pitching has been good. It's been consistent for the duration of the season. It's been getting the offense to that next level, and that's obviously been something that they've struggled with this year. So you got to feel good. You got to feel optimistic about what you just saw them do in Texas, and if you can just keep the bats moving. You don't need everybody to be hot collectively, but if you were telling me that for the next 2 to 3 weeks, Bobby can continue the power, Salvi can continue it, and Jack Caglione sprinkles in another 3 to 5 home runs between now and, let's say, the 4th of July or the All-Star break, that's a massive push for the Kansas City Royals, and I think what they need to do collectively as a team. So coming up in just a bit, we'll continue to talk about Game 7 in the NBA. We have one final NBA game left. The Pacers and the Thunder are tied at 3 games apiece. Game 7 is coming up on Sunday in Oklahoma City. And we'll also head to the phone lines to be joined by our guy Josh Vernier, who is our Royals insider. The Royals get a much-needed sweep this weekend in Texas against the Rangers. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, host of the Random Royals lineup on 96.5 The Fan.
Baseball with the Royals.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A two-car crash northbound 35 just past Johnson Drive. Left lane closed. Traffic backed up to 69 Highway. And on the northeast side of the metro, got a stalled car blocking the right lane of northbound 435 right past Front Street, contributing to those typical slowdowns in that area. Also looking heavy coming out of downtown, northbound 35 over the Bond Bridge. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Ready for a summer getaway? Start it off right with Park & Go, KC's premier airport parking destination. Open 24/7 with all covered spots to beat the summer heat. Reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in Kansas City. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Hi, folks. Bob at Blue Springs Ford. Layton, you look like you have something to say.
I do. It's our free lifetime powertrain warranty. That includes 24-hour, 7 days a week, every day of the year for 10 years, roadside assistance.
Well, that was a mouthful.
We're talking towing, fuel, oil, water delivery to you, lockout assistance, battery service, flat tire support, emergency assistance.
Folks, if you don't come see us today,
then you'll miss out on our free lifetime warranty.
I'm a call with Lee Summit Subaru, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty?
What about guarantees?
A lifetime warranty should handle that. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here. Renner Garage Door has proudly served KC for nearly 70 years. Get your free estimate today, RENNER, forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Hey Kansas City, it's Michael Waka. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by our Royals insider, Josh Vernier. Vern, you know what? The Royals have won 3 consecutive games since the last time I talked to you. In the words of Lou Brown, that, my friends, is a winning streak.
Man. Yeah, how nice is it? You know, isn't it wild, the ups and downs of this baseball season? It all feels lost, and then they can't be stopped, and you look at the standings, and they're right around 500. I mean, this is exactly what Major League Baseball wants for a majority of its cities, to be still in it, but approaching the trade deadline with that should they not debate happening amongst its fan base. You look at the American League right now, there's 2 teams that are out of it? So that additional wild card spot has certainly done the trick. And, well, last night the offense doing the trick, 3 home runs. They've now gone deep in 9 straight road games. C-Dot, I find it funny you're talking about Jack Caglione earlier. Royals last night with their 9th multi-home run game of the year. 6 of the 9 have come since the promotion of Jack Caglione. It's, I don't think that's a coincidence. You know, he's a part of it once, but there's just no convincing me otherwise that his presence in the lineup, him standing in the on-deck circle, doesn't make you approach this Royals lineup slightly differently.
All right, I do want to get to the Royals. There's a lot of things I want to get your opinion on, but I have 2, life questions to ask you about before we really dive into the Royals. The first one is, today is the 50-year anniversary of the movie Jaws. Is there a movie that you haven't seen that people would kind of, maybe look at you away? Nathan said that movie for him is Shawshank Redemption. I have actually never seen Jaws myself. Do you have that movie that you haven't seen?
Well, Jaws, yeah, but there are thousands. I mean, just so many. I mean, most of those 80s movies, most 80s movies I just passed on. So pick an 80s movie. Outside of really sports movies, miss me on all of them.
Have you ever seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever sat down and watched it start to finish, but I think I've seen enough of it to piece it all together.
Have you ever seen Breakfast Club before?
No.
Okay. All right. Breakfast Club's really good.
All those John Hughes movies.
Okay. All right. That's important. That's important to note. I was just asking. Somebody on the text line says, I've never seen Goodfellas before. That seems like one of those movies that, like, every guy has seen, like Forrest Gump and Shawshank Redemption. Goodfellas is on that list of a movie that everybody's seen.
And if you have cable television, it's almost if you have TNT or TBS, it's almost impossible to miss. There was a 5-year, maybe it's still going on. I think it's more AMC now, but it's always on. And yeah, that's a classic. But again, that's 90s, right? So that's wheelhouse for your boy.
Okay, last question here is, I imagine that your wife is watching this show, but A lot of my friends are watching Love Island. I'm starting to have the feeling of, am I too old to be watching Love Island? But I'm seeing the clips, and everybody who watches the show makes it sound like it's a really fun show. Have you dipped into this a little bit? Like, I know at some point you're not watching the Royals and you're watching TV with the wifey. Are you watching Love Island?
She doesn't really. She only watches TikTok. She's been completely overtaken by TikTok. So she's basically out. She reads a lot, and when she does watch something, she's watching TikTok. No, I haven't watched that, but no. If you want to dive into it, I got no problem with it. I mean, I stuck with like the Real World Road Rules, like the challenge shows. I watched that for a really long time. I've since given up just because I don't know anybody anymore. I don't have any long-term relationship with any of the contestants. So, but I stuck with that up until, I was in my 30s still watching that. So, no, if you want to get in on Love Island, go for it.
Okay, you know what? I appreciate that. I got a Josh Vernier seal of approval that I can watch Love Island. I really needed that because I was on the fence about it. I was on the fence if I could be watching.
Let me push you over, man. Go dive in.
100%. We got our Royals insider, Josh Vernier, that's here. It did feel like yesterday it was sort of that kind of breath of fresh air for Jack Caglione to hit those home runs. Like, it was just, hey, when's the first one going to be? When's the first one going to be? He hits one, then he hits the second one. And you're right, like, to see them hit with power for basically, this 3-game stretch was really encouraging. J.J. Piccolo earlier this week was talking about positivity and just staying positive when it comes to the offense. I mean, this is the series that I think the Royals have been waiting for. Their pitching was no different than it's been this year, but they finally started to drive in runs. And if you're going to score 4, 6, and 6 runs the way that they did in 3 straight days, this is just a very difficult team to beat.
Well, I mean, you have to score runs to win. We know the pitching's good enough. We believe the defense and the base running is good enough, but the offense has just not done anything to score. I've said it countless times. I'll say it again. You can't be both. You can't be both punchless and clutchless. Royals are still, now tied with Pittsburgh, but dead last in baseball in home runs. Also dead last in baseball when it comes to OPS with runners in scoring position. You can't be both because you don't score if you're both. If you're basically asking for a single and then a triple and we get our 1 run and that's it for the inning. Or we're going to piece together 5 straight singles and we're maybe mixing a walk in there and that's how we're going to score. Man, you're not going to win very often. You're still going to win occasionally because of that pitching staff. But, this series against San Diego, that's not going to do it. You need to be clutch. You need to come through with runners in scoring position consistently, or you need to hit for power consistently, or do a mixture of both. But you can't be the worst in both. And they're going to be tested here in San Diego. Nick Pivetta going tonight. They're going to see Dylan Cease coming up in Game 2. So the pitching is really going to ratchet up. Texas has a nice bullpen. They have some nice arms, but the guys you're going to see the next 2 nights will really put this offense to test. And, yeah, as long as they do one of those 2 things, there's no shame in losing. No shame in losing a game or 2 to the Padres. No, you don't want to get swept, but you got to do one of those 2 things. Come through with runners in scoring position or hit for power. And, we're seeing the power show up. We'll see if it can happen consistently because they're big leaguers, right? Of course they can do it for 3 games. Can you do it for a month? We'll see.
You mentioned it just a bit ago about, teams are trying to make those decisions on whether they're in it or not in it. Do you see the Royals as in it, or are you kind of unsure? Because I'm kind of at that point. I think it can go in any direction. Like, you could tell me this team collapses and they're trading Seth Lugo in 2 weeks. You could tell me that this team wins 10 of its next 14 and they sit in the second wild card spot and we want them to go pick up a bat and try to go for it. Like, I feel like they're at that very interesting crossroads on whether they can go for it or not. You watch them as closely as anybody. Do you see this Royals team as being in it?
I do. When you make a move as aggressive as calling up Jack Caglione as early as you did to me, you can't retreat a month and a half, 2 months after that, barring some sort of catastrophic reason why you're retreating, right? An injury to someone that is, a Bobby, Bubich. someone that is irreplaceable. Something like that happens, okay, we can discuss truly retreating and looking towards 2026. But no, to me, the offseason you had. Now you mentioned Seth Lugo. That doesn't mean that you can't trade Seth Lugo and still believe that you're in it. Because Lugo's gone after this offseason. Do you want to get something for him? Do you want to take him all the way to free agency and lose him for nothing? I think there is a way, and all you got to do is look at what the Detroit Tigers did a season ago. Tigers had a very similar record to the Royals. In fact, I think they had an even worse record than the Royals do right now. They traded away a bullpen arm. They traded away one of their top two pitchers, starting pitchers, and Jack Flaherty traded him to the Dodgers. They traded Mark Canha away. So the Tigers sold but didn't truly sell, right? They weren't trading Tarek Skubal like some wanted. They weren't building for years down the line. They were parting with guys that had expiring contracts, but giving their key players still the opportunity to go out there and win on a daily basis because they thought they had enough depth. If you believe in Noah Cameron and Chris Bubich for the home stretch, well, maybe you can part with a Seth Lugo. Maybe you're going to give Kyle Wright a start in September. Maybe the 45-year-old Rich Hill can hold things down for a few weeks in that number 5 spot in the rotation. There is a way where you can trade a guy like Seth Lugo and still be in it, still make an acquisition, still bring in the bat that this team needs to hit in that 5 spot between Vinny and Jack Caglione, to allow Salvi to drop in the 7 spot, to allow Salvi to be in a not less important position, but you can't ask a 35-year-old in the summer months in Kansas City to hit cleanup, to hit in the 5 spot, to be one of the key cogs of your offense. So I think they could still part with a Seth Lugo and still bring in that bat. So maybe that's a long way of saying, yeah, I can see all avenues. But the only way I see the truly wave the white flag avenue is if some sort of massive injury befalls this team.
Right now, we're talking to our Royals insider, Josh Vernier, just getting his thoughts coming off the sweep that the Royals just had of the Rangers. We have passed the 50 AB mark for Jack Caglione. What have you seen that's encouraging? What have you seen that you feel he needs to work on?
Well, it's all been encouraging. You mentioned it. That home run was a sigh of relief for him. Certainly for him, right? He's even made mention of it. You're wondering when it's going to come. But if you're watching these games, if you're a fan, a teammate, a coach, an executive, the owner of this team, man, you're nothing but encouraged. Now, it's nice to see the result be a ball go over the wall. But if you've watched them through these first 14 games, it wasn't a when's it going to happen? Is it going to happen? It's happening. It's probably going to happen today. Cags has been very impressive. The strikeouts, the chase hasn't been as bad as I think many expected right out of the gate. Now, I understand the strikeout numbers are still, I don't know if they're concerning. 12 strikeouts, 12 hits in 14 games. Okay, yeah, I was never looking at him to be the difference maker for this offense. What I wanted him to be, and what I think he is a weapon. Someone that the other team needs to game plan for. Someone that you say, all right, we got to pitch the guy in front of him differently because of that guy standing in the on-deck circle. I mean, the average big leaguer sees about 28% off-speed stuff. Jack Caglione right now getting 41% because why would anyone give this dude a heater? You made a mistake yesterday, threw one at his neck, and he belted it to dead center field. I mean, the exit velocity that we're seeing on a consistent basis is reflective of some of the most powerful bats in the game. So everything that you had hoped, to me, has come to fruition, and the biggest of concerns, to me, have been silenced to a certain extent, 14 games into his career. Defensively on the base paths, is he going to be a strikeout machine? Is he going to be chasing out of the zone endlessly? To me, it's been, positive marks across the board.
Couple more questions here, Vernon. We appreciate your time. The first question is about the second opinion for Cole Reagans. So from Aaron Rodgers, while in Texas, Cole Reagans received a second opinion on his diagnosis, which is standard practice. The evaluation shows what the Royals originally thought. Cole Reagans is suffering from a rotator cuff strain, but it isn't as severe enough that would require more than just simple rest and recovery. Quote, it could be a lot worse from Reagan. Obviously, I don't want to be on the IL. I want to be out there helping my guys and helping the team. It sounds weird to say, given a guy who has had some arm elbow issues in his career and so far this season, but this sounds like good news for Reagans that he will be back at some point, I would say, between now and August.
Yeah, certainly good news. Andy Rogers does a terrific job for MLB.com. And again, to go back to the Seth Lugo conversation, good news if you truly believe that Cole Reagans is going to be back and you think he's going to be healthy and he's going to be a force. It could make moving a guy like Seth Lugo all that much more easy, right? Trade deadline 6 weeks from yesterday. So, yeah, hopefully there's no setback. Better than he's going under the knife. He needs surgery. So, yeah, good news, but a long way away before we see him on the bump. You know, actions speak louder than words. If they move Seth Lugo, that's them telling you, oh, yeah, we feel good about Reagans.
All right, last thing here. Actually, I got two more things here. One's Royals-related, one's not Royals-related. Are you surprised that Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't leading shortstops at his position? Yeah. I was just surprised to see that, especially because it'd be one thing if you were losing to a Yankee or a Red Sox, a team that has like such a great built-up fan base, such a bigger city than Kansas City. It would make sense why you were losing the popular vote. To be losing to a team that doesn't have a home with the A's, I was surprised that Bobby Witt wasn't leading his position.
Yeah, I don't get it. You know, I understand if honestly, my guess would be, and the way that you vote now, you can organize it by batting average, by home runs, by OPS, and really no matter what you select, Bobby's not at the top. Jack Wilson, Jeremy Pena, they're at the top. And, you know, I'm guessing a lot of people maybe just go through, pick either their favorite team or the guy that has the best OPS, the best batting average. You would like to think that Bobby Witt Jr. has broken through and he's a guy that people seek out and make sure that his name is selected. But, you know, I don't know if voting is like that necessarily anymore. Like, where's Mike Trout rank? You know, is there a name in the starting lineup? Is there a leading vote getter that is on there on name alone? You know, maybe I should know this off the top of my head, but I remember, I mean, so did you. Back in the day, Cal Ripken was an automatic, whether he deserved it or not. Derek Jeter was an automatic to be leading their position, whether they deserved it or not. I don't know if those guys exist anymore, or if baseball fans view the All-Star game like that anymore. I was curious, and I don't know if you touched on it, C-Dot, if you know, especially for someone that's not, you know, knee-deep into the baseball minutia and unwritten rules and you're not a baseball nerd like me. What did you think of the silent treatment that the boys gave Jack Caglione after his first home run?
I thought
what do you think about the silent treatment altogether?
I thought it was kind of cool. Baseball just has like its own traditions that like seem silly to outsiders but make sense to them. Kind of like, you know, you and your friends probably have like inside jokes or a nickname that you call somebody that it doesn't have to make sense to me. It just has to make sense to the group. That's how I took it.
Okay. Good. I was interested because I was racking my brain and trying to think of another, you know, silent treatment instance, Hosmer, Gordo. I mean, back in the day, is it more of a new thing? Because I've heard of it. I just can't think of a memorable silent treatment. But that's Jack Caglione, one of the top prospects in baseball, his first big league home run, and the boys decide now's the time. I'm not a fan of it. I got no problem with it. You know, it's a totally different generation. Who cares what I think? But I was just surprised, especially since I can't think of a really memorable one in the past.
Last thing here, Vern. Who do you have winning Game 7? And I don't want to hear you are going to get off in enough time that you'll be able to watch Game 7 on Sunday.
For sure. I'll be I'm picking the Thunder. You know, if I'm betting, I'm certainly picking the Thunder. I think I'll be rooting for Oklahoma City. But it's weird watching this series. I found myself pulling for the Pacers. I didn't think that would be the case. We'll see if it changes on Sunday night, but I would bet the Thunder for sure.
That is our guy, Josh Vernier, joining us on the show today, our Royals insider. Vern, man, enjoy the official start of summer, man. We appreciate you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is our guy, Josh Vernier, joining us on the show. Someone texted in, C-Dot, Jacob Wilson has been better. How is it not hard to understand? You're certainly right from a numbers perspective. I'm just a little bit surprised from a young superstar who seems to be very recognizable in the game. He plays for a very passionate fan base. I mean, some of this, we all know how all-star voting goes. I mean, look at the teams that are like, look at the guys that are in it. They're usually a little bit more household names. They normally just have better fan bases. Like, I'm just a little bit surprised that Bobby Wood Jr., who seems to have one of the more popular jerseys, I'm just surprised he's losing the popular vote to a fan base that just doesn't really seem to exist. I mean, no one is an A's fan right now. They don't have a home in Oakland. They don't really have a home in Vegas yet. They don't really have a home in Sacramento. Maybe the argument is that they're pulling from a little bit of everywhere, and that ends up being the difference. But I don't usually think that whoever is having the best season always decides who starts the All-Star game. A lot of times it's just like simple name recognition. And if you're comparing the two between Bobby Wood Jr. and Jacob Wilson, it's not really close who has the name recognition. So that's the part that just kind of stood out to me is like, oh, I'm kind of surprised he's not winning the popular vote.
I actually hadn't looked at the All-Star voting totals until you and Vern were talking about it there a minute ago. And I'm generally, I think, kind of surprised at how accurate the voting is regarding who's playing well. Mike Trout is the third leading vote getter in AL outfielders. That's probably not accurate. James Wood should probably, from the Nationals, should probably be, one of the three leading vote getters for the NL outfield as well. But otherwise, it's like who's actually playing well this year, and that's not what I'm accustomed to from the voting. Like you guys were talking about, Jeter used to be automatic, Ripken automatic, Trout automatic. You would think that just by waking up, Bobby Witt Jr. would lead this vote. And I'm not saying he's been better than Jacob Wilson, but yeah, I'm surprised as well that Jacob Wilson's leading the vote.
Yeah, no, for sure. The guy followed up and said Jacob Wilson has a big following in the baseball card world. Okay. I mean, that might be true. It might not be true. I'm just saying is if I had asked you guys a month ago, is Bobby Witt Jr. a superstar? A lot of you would have told me yes. If you were losing to Jacob Wilson, because of card collectors, you ain't a superstar then. That's why it caught me a little bit off guard. It surprised me a little bit. We're talking about a guy who last year was one of the 5 best players in baseball. I would assume there's like a built-in support. There's like people that, I recognize him. I'm going to vote for him. And it's not like Witt's having a bad season. He's just not having like a great season. He's not hitting 320 with 15 home runs. But last year, Witt was kind of everywhere in a baseball space. He did the home run derby last year. He started the All-Star game last year, came in second in MVP voting. Usually you see that kind of momentum just carry over from a year-to-year basis, and it is just not carried over for Bobby Witt Jr.
Right, and all due respect to the baseball card collecting community, I'm also surprised in the same vein that Anthony Volpe is 5th, and he's gotten a third of the votes as Jacob Wilson has. Usually these types of markets and these types of players just sort of gravitate towards the top of these ballots, except for obviously 2015 when Kansas City just took over All-Star voting. So, no, I don't think it has a lot to do with maybe Bobby Witt Jr. not being a star. I also don't think it has much to do with card collecting. I think the voters are just doing a good job this year compared to usual.
Hey, a shout out to the baseball voters, Shout out to the baseball voters for getting it right when it comes to the All-Star game. Where's the All-Star game at this year? It's in Atlanta this year, isn't it? Because they lost it because of the political stuff, and now they got it back. So, it is in Atlanta this year. I like to think that we're actually going to get one pretty soon. If the Royals build a new stadium, they are certainly getting the All-Star game again. So we'll see. You know what? This feels like a 2031, 2032 Kansas City once again hosts the All-Star game in a brand new stadium. Kind of like Atlanta, whether that is in downtown Kansas City or it is somewhere in Overland Park. All right, coming up on the other side, you know what? Let's talk a little bit of Chiefs as they are winding down. It's actually now completed. They are done with their off-season workouts. What do I want to see between now and heading to St. Joe? We'll get to it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
It's the spring sales event at Rob Sight Ford, and I'm here with the man himself, Rob Sight. Rob, you already stole the spotlight. Now what are you trying to take?
Just your attention, Kevin, and maybe a few trade-ins. Now, we've got up to $14,000 off new Fords with employee pricing, plus our own dealer discount.
14 grand. That's hotter than your Sunday barbecue.
Exactly. And unlike your burgers, these deals won't dry out. We've got hard-to-find inventory, huge trade-in values, and our non-commissioned sales team makes everything so easy.
No pressure, just real help. Even I'll admit it, it's the best place in Kansas City to buy a car, and I don't hand out compliments lightly, or seconds.
That's a fact. And don't forget, we're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and 0 grill marks.
All right, Rob, I'll give it to you, man. You're cooking up some real value over there.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit robsight.com. But hurry, these deals are sizzling and inventory's moving fast.
And tell him Rob sent you. No guarantees, but he might throw in a hot dog.
Did storms hit your area? Looking for answers on the impact it made to your roof? Then it's time to schedule a zero-pressure, in-depth inspection with Century Roofing's trusted roofing experts. We will determine if enough damage exists to warrant filing a claim. See for yourself why Century Roofing has been voted Best of Johnson County for the 3rd year in a row. Trust the pillars of strength for 35 years. KC-based and female-owned. Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
At Casey's, we're too nice to say no. So when someone asked for a free frozen drink, we said sure. Then they said every Friday all summer, and well, now we're giving away free medium frozen drinks every Friday. Free Frozen Fridays with Casey's Rewards. It's not crazy, it's Casey's. See store for details.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6812. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6812. That's 800-575-6812.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Stalled car still blocking that right lane of northbound 435 right past Front Street. And the two-car crash now off to the shoulder of northbound 35, just past Johnson Drive, but traffic still heavy back into 69 Highway. And look at the brake lights out of downtown on eastbound 70. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Really excited to be here with you guys on this wonderful, wonderful Friday. Hopefully you had a great Thursday, a great Juneteenth. Hopefully you're having a great Friday as well. And hopefully you got some great summer plans coming up this weekend. All right, I want to talk about two separate players. Let's start with Trey Smith. His contract seems like the one that the Chiefs need to address first. He is currently playing under the franchise tag. He's the only player in the National Football League who is playing under the franchise tag. For those of you that don't know what that means he is currently under a 1-year, fully guaranteed $23 million contract. That obviously is a lot of money. And if you come to an agreement with him, you can kind of move the money around. He can have a low cap hit. You give him a big guarantee. You can move the money around. You can kind of finesse the money. You cannot finesse it on the franchise tag. It is in the best benefit of both sides to reach a long-term agreement. We had Nate Taylor on the show earlier. Here's what he said he's hearing about a Trey Smith extension.
Yeah, let's just remind the audience, Carrington, that it really doesn't benefit the Chiefs to have Trey play on the franchise tag. We all know it's a 1-year contract. It's an average. It's pretty ballooned based on where the salary cap is and obviously what that 1-year contract is. But obviously he's in the prime of his career. He's part of the solution. He's not part of the problem, obviously. So with him being at mandatory minicamp, with Chris Jones even acknowledging that, hey, he probably did the right thing and he saved a little bit of money, while also, having this leverage to, really have a contract that will make him the highest paid guard in the league. That's basically where this is trending. Based on my understanding, it's just a matter of how do you want to spread those years out, whether it's 4 or 5 years. That's basically what has always been the issue. But look, the Chiefs knew they were going to sign Trey Smith when they franchise tagged him, which of course prevented him from reaching the free agent market. Then you have all the draft process. Then you go through the draft. Then you're like, okay, well, we don't really have to talk really until checks the date now. So look, it's good faith negotiation on Trey Smith's side. He's made it very clear that he wants to be a member of the Chiefs for the foreseeable, not just this, 2025 season. So I would say that, I don't want to put an odds on it, but it's relatively high, right? I'm not going to be surprised, and I don't think Chiefs fans should be surprised, Carrington, if I'm just picking dates now, kids, but on July 8th, July 10th, the Chiefs and Trey Smith agreed to a deal.
I also believe that the Chiefs and Trey Smith are going to come to a deal, usually in the NFL. If both sides want a deal to get done, it's going to get done. I think it's very important to note that Trey Smith is a 6th-round pick. So I know he has made real money in a life sense. He hasn't made real money in a football sense. Now, you sign a 1-year, $23 million guarantee deal. Yeah, you got real money coming your way, but you are also in line to probably double that in total guarantees. So if you're him, yes, playing and taking the 23 would be really good. You could probably get $45, $50 million in guarantees by simply signing a long-term extension. It's also with the franchise that you want to play for in a city that you feel comfortable in. there's just a lot of reason to do it. If you are the Chiefs, it gives you far more roster cap flexibility to get this deal done. Now, this is where we might just disagree on positional value. If you're currently looking at it, Trey Smith is the 8th highest paid offensive lineman in the National Football League. I'm not saying just at his position. There are only 7 offensive linemen in the entire National Football League that make more money than Trey Smith. I don't think he's the 8th best offensive lineman in the National Football League, but that's not how this thing works. The moment that you franchise tagged him and you guaranteed him the $23 million, this is the ballpark that we started to talk about. He is going to get very good left tackle money once he signs a contract. I mean, very good left tackle money at this point is $25 million. That's what Lane Johnson gets. That's what Laramie Tunsil gets. That's what Andrew Thomas, who plays for the Giants, get. I mean, he's right there in terms of high end. What does it cost to go get your left tackle? That's how much the Chiefs are about to be playing Trey Smith, we believe, in the next 20 to 25 days or so with the deal. Now, again, it is in their best interest to do it, and the Chiefs have shown you that their number one commitment is to trying to protect Patrick Mahomes up front. So they have spent a lot of money and a lot of resources to, in theory, be able to do that. They went out and they signed Jalen Moore. He has $21 million guaranteed coming his way. Trey Smith is about to get a top 10 contract for offensive linemen in the National Football League. And say what you want about Jawan Taylor, he is 16th highest paid offensive lineman in the entire National Football League. They have certainly invested a lot of salary cap space into the offensive line and certainly tried to spend the resources in that capacity. So that's the Trey Smith side of this. Let's talk about the Trent McDuffie part of this, a player who is obviously very important to what the Chiefs are doing defensively. He's their second best defensive player. We asked Nate Taylor, what is he hearing about a Trent McDuffie extension?
Let me say this definitively, Carrington. Since Brett Veach became the Chiefs general manager, the best draft pick that Brett Veach has ever made is Trent McDuffie. You have to sign him sooner rather than later. In fact, I would try to sign Trent McDuffie to the highest paid cornerback position contract before opening night, which is what you just did a year ago with Creed Humphrey, when everybody told you, man, isn't Creed Humphrey like the best center in the league the moment Jason Kelce retired? And it's like, yep, yes, he is. It's undeniable. Trent McDuffie is the reason you traded and were comfortable trading L'Jarius Sneed to the Tennessee Titans in a trade that you immediately won based on the draft pick allocation. Trent McDuffie is the second best player on defense, only behind Chris Jones, who's already in Canton. So for the stability of the franchise, and because Trent McDuffie is the highest draft pick you've ever made in the first round as general manager, it would behoove Brett Veach to do this sooner rather than later. It's nice to say, like, yes, we're immediately picking up the fifth-year option of Trent McDuffie if, you know, it's not going to go well from a negotiation standpoint. But the moment they sign Trey Smith, as I said earlier, on July 10th, July 9th, whatever day it is, like, pop champagne, congratulate Trey Smith. The moment he walks out the door after signing that contract, pick up the phone and call Trent McDuffie and say, please, like, let's get a deal done now. That's how valuable you are. That's how good you are at a premium position. And he's proven it, and the money's only going to go up and up and up. So for the sake of trying to, again, put these nice core of players around Patrick Mahomes, man, you got to sign this dude sooner rather than later because he's better than Derek Stingley. And have you seen Derek Stingley's contract? Because I have. It's abominable. Sauce Gardner's going to make plenty of money, and he's now eligible too. Guess who the best cornerback in that draft class is? It's Trent McDuffie. So the best case scenario for the Chiefs, in my opinion, Carrington, is they do what they did with Creed Humphrey. Hey, man, we signed him to a new deal before the season started. Hallelujah. We're going to have Trent McDuffie throughout the prime of his career in a Chiefs uniform. Now, if I was advising Trent McDuffie, that's very nice. Those are all lovely praises. Yeah, let those other dudes get paid first.
So that was Nate Taylor. That's what he had to say about Trent McDuffie and what a contract extension for him looks like. Just to get into the money of what we're talking about at corner. The highest paid corner makes $30 million a year. The second highest paid corner makes $25 million a year. If I had to just throw out a number, this is just a guesstimation. Trent McDuffie will probably get paid somewhere between $26 and $31.5 million. Maybe he signs up to be the second highest paid corner in the league, but I'm guessing he probably wants to be the highest paid corner. If he wants to be the highest paid corner, that conversation starts at $30 million a year. Now, I agree with what we just heard Nate say. I mean, Sauce Gardner hasn't got paid yet. If you saw Patrick Surtain get paid, you saw Derek Stingley gets paid, Sauce Gardner, who might be the best man corner in the National Football League, he is also going to look to get paid. I only bring that up because if he is a player that you want the Chiefs to retain long-term, you have to sign him this offseason. It is only going to be more expensive for this point. Right now, there's only one corner that makes $30 million a year. It could be two corners that make $30 million a year. So if that's the case and the market just continues to go up and up as the salary cap continues to go up and up, and you've got a 24-year-old corner who has already been All-Pro 2 times, you don't really have a choice in that matter. You pay him. He's a great player. He is a cornerstone to what you do defensively. He has shown you great versatility. You have to pay Trent McDuffie in that context. So, I mean, there could be a scenario in which the Chiefs are giving out some big-time contracts over the next 3 to 4 weeks or so. I think the Trey Smith one is a no-brainer. I agree with Nate Taylor. I think it's in everybody's best interest to pay Trent McDuffie right now. Extend his contract. You can still get that 1-year relief when it comes to the rookie wage scale. You just throw some guaranteed money at him. You can still keep your cap hit number really low, and you just get him before the number continues to go up and up and up. We've seen this happen time and time again. The number for great players doesn't get smaller. It only gets larger. He is a great player. He is arguably one of the 3 best corners in the National Football League. He will never be cheap. You are never getting a hometown discount on a 25-year-old All-Pro corner. If he is a player that you want to retain long-term, you just simply pay him. And I suspect at some point the Chiefs end up doing that with Trent McDuffie. We can keep this conversation going. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk about the Royals as they are heading to San Diego, coming off a sweep of the Rangers. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Summer is here, and that means longer days and warm nights, rooftop dinners, spontaneous getaways, vacation season, and romance is in the air. But if you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, all that excitement, it can feel like pressure and like you're missing out on something. Well, look, you're not alone. And more importantly, there's help that's out there, especially with my friends over at Heartland Men's Health. They specialize in ED treatments that work even when the pills and the herbals don't, with a success rate of over 90%. Some guys even last an hour or more. Summer should feel unforgettable, romantic, confident, not stressful. If your sex life is just good enough, then why should you settle? Your first visit is just $99, including a full medical consult, testosterone, and a PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. Visit the website, heartlandmenshealth.com. With offices in Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City, you can get back in action as soon as tomorrow. Don't let ED steal your summer away. Reclaim it, and you can do that with Heartland Men's Health.
Harris Kansas City is giving away $150,000 in guaranteed prizes Saturday, June 28th to celebrate Mid-Year's Eve. One lucky guest will walk away with $50,000 in cold, hard cash at midnight. Plus, leading up to the big finale, you can win up to $2,500 in free play every 15 minutes. The best part? You can earn extra entries into the big drawing from now until June 28th. Don't miss the hottest celebration of the summer, only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Baseball season is in full swing, and that means the summer heat is coming. The guys at Climate Control have been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years and know how to get your cooling system ready to handle our scorching hot summer weather. Stay cool and comfortable this summer. Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830 and schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
One of my favorite things to do at Hy-Vee is saving money on gas. And this weekend, I'm in luck. This Saturday, June 21st, and Sunday, June 22nd, Earn a 30-cent per gallon fuel discount with every $60 grocery purchase at Hy-Vee. And Hy-Vee isn't just saving us money at the pump, they're lowering prices in every department. And on top of that, you can save on fuel as well. So this weekend, stock up for summer and stack up those fuel savings this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
Nothing tastes better than sweet summer corn or a juicy ripe watermelon. Indulge yourself in the fresh taste of summer this Thursday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. We're rolling back prices on your favorite produce like sweet corn, 4 for $1, avocados just 69 cents, seedless grapes 99 cents a pound, candy cantaloupe $1.99, and russet potato 5-pound bags just $1.48. Stock up on all the juicy deals during the mega produce sale this Thursday through Sunday only at Hy-Vee.
When you buy a new house, you might say,
"Shut the front door."
Winning!
No, seriously, shut the front door. We own this house now.
But you actually need to say,
"Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there."
That's right. The local State Farm agent is there to help you choose the coverage you need.
Welcome to my crib. No one says that anymore, but I don't care.
So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck. And she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes. But when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Stay comfortable year-round with expert HVAC installation done right the first time. Enjoy a new HVAC system starting at $150 a month. Schedule your consultation today at anthonyphce.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Very heavy congestion southbound 49 highway. It's the heaviest at 140th Street, stopping traffic down to about 14 miles an hour as you cross 150 highway. And debris in the roadway in the far north side of the metro, 152 highway westbound, right at 169 highway. That is stopping traffic. Heavy into downtown northbound 71. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
All right, welcome back into the show. We were just talking about Trey Smith and the likeliness, however you want to put it, on him getting a long-term deal. So if you look at the current, rankings of offensive linemen, Trey Smith is the 8th highest paid offensive lineman in the National Football League. The way that it goes is Tristan Wirfs, Penei Sewell, Trent Williams, Christian Darrisaw, Lane Johnson, Laramie Tunsil, Andrew Thomas, all of them either play left or right tackle. And then Trey Smith coming in at number 8. He is the 8th highest paid offensive lineman in the National Football League. I don't think that he is the 8th best offensive lineman in the league, but I think he's a very good player. Someone on the text line says, what makes you say that he's not a top 8 offensive lineman? I think he was the 3rd best offensive lineman on the Chiefs last year. I don't think he was one of the 5 best offensive linemen in the Super Bowl last year, but I think he's a very, very good player. So I'm not here telling you that I wouldn't pay Trey Smith. I don't think I would pay him what the Chiefs are ultimately going to pay him, but the Chiefs have already made that decision once you put the franchise tag on him. And I don't think they've ever really entertained the possibility of trading him. I think that the Chiefs have made a commitment to having Trey Smith around. Someone also texted in, CDOT, paying Trent McDuffie $26 million a year is simply illogical for Veach, who has not only proven to draft the corner position at all levels of the draft, but has never paid a corner significant long-term money. This is where I would disagree. I don't think the Chiefs have had an elite corner that they have let walk away. I don't think that's what Snead was. I think Snead is a good corner that is really good in this system, but I don't think that he has let an elite corner walk away. I know this for a fact, there was a lot of injury concerns with L'Jarius Snead that also made them walk away. That's not really what you're dealing with Trent McDuffie. We're talking about a corner who has been very, very healthy in his first 3 years and has also been an all-pro his last couple of years. I think you can make an argument that he is the second most valuable player long-term currently on the roster behind Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying like right now he's the best, but if we're talking of his age, his position, his productivity, you tell me the player that they currently have that is more valuable than him. And where I would be upset is, and the Chiefs and I we have different positional value charts. If you paid the center big-time money, you paid the right guard big-time money, you paid your middle linebacker who is not a sack guy, also not a great coverage guy, you paid him $15 million a year. And now we're arguing about paying one of the 5 best corners in the National Football League. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me in how I would build my roster. If you are thinking what the Chiefs defense is going to look like beyond. So once Kelce's done, it's centered around, to me, a really, really good 26, 27-year-old Trent McDuffie being the anchor on that side of the ball, and you building around the fact that you got one of the best corners who can play outside, who can play inside, who can do just a little bit about everything. McDuffie is a non-negotiable to me on who I would pay on their defense. We can have a conversation when we get to George Karlaftis, and I probably would be on the side of pay him. It just depends on what we're talking about and who do you kind of compare him to. I'm not giving him a Max Crosby contract, but I'd be very interested in keeping George Karlaftis around and paying him a long-term deal. I'm not really having a conversation about McDuffie. He's a young, healthy, elite corner. Those are guys you just pay.
I know it's a next off-season conversation, but I think my initial inclination on Karlaftis is to say pass for me. I agree with you that McDuffie's a non-negotiable, and I think he's getting 28 plus. I think it's going to be in a Chiefs uniform. I don't see the texter's point about Veach not giving a corner long-term money, because Veach also hadn't drafted a cornerback in the first round until Trent McDuffie.
Yeah, until they got him.
Trent McDuffie is special, and I think that's been the playbook for Brett Veach since the Tampa Bay Super Bowl. Is we have the quarterback, we're going to pay the offensive line, and we're going to pay you if you're special outside of that. So at the wide receiver position, they've drafted and they've let go. Same thing at the corner position. I think McDuffie breaks away from that mold, and you're probably thinking, well, they paid Nick Bolton, and maybe we have different feelings on Nick Bolton compared to Steve Spagnuolo. But I think Trent McDuffie is top 3 in the league minimum. In terms of cornerback rankings, top 5 at worst.
Yeah, I would argue it's some combination of Sauce Gardner, Derek Stingley Jr., Patrick Surtain II, Trent McDuffie. It's probably that combination of those are the 4 or 5 best corners in the league.
Yeah, I think Surtain's the only one that definitively clears him in my mind, and that's all. I mean, we're all getting really into the weeds there. Trent McDuffie is a non-negotiable for me on this Chiefs defense. I think you're right. I think he is the cornerstone of the post-Chris Jones, post-Travis Kelce Chiefs era on defense.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why, at least for me, I'm just always going to be in the business of keeping players that I think are great. I don't think that those are contracts that really hurt you. I think paying good players great contracts are usually what get you into trouble. I don't think that paying great players what the market says that they're worth is ever really that bad of a deal. They have a great young player on their team, so you pay him. You pay him, and you're happy to pay him if that's the case. If he just continues to be what he's been, you don't need, we're not talking about a guy that you are paying and you are hoping that he takes another step and no. Keep being what you've been. Can you be this for the next 3 seasons? And if you can continue to be that for the next 3 seasons, I would say that is a contract that simply pays for itself. I think the Chiefs are in line to have a really, really good secondary this year. I think they've drafted really well at safety. I think they're really young and versatile. You got McDuffie. I really like the addition of Christian Fulton. I think you're now moving the guys who were asking to be cornerback 2. I think you're now asking them to be cornerback 3 or 4. I think they got a lot of depth in their secondary. This might be the most versatile and complete secondary they've had during this run on defense.
Well, I think so. And you didn't even mention the kid from California that gets Jay Binkley just salivating if you say his name. This Noel Williams kid that's supposed to be, really, really versatile and helpful as well. No, I'm with you. The contracts such as, and again, I'm not saying don't pay Trey Smith, but the contracts such as Jawan Taylor's, as the one they're about to hand out to Trey Smith, he's a good player. He's not an elite player.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I personally would not have paid Trey Smith. Like, right. if I could go back in time, I would not have paid him. Yeah. Like, I'm big on positional value and giving I think he is a very good right guard. I think he's a very good right guard. I think giving a right guard top 5 offensive lineman money is just huge. Like, I mean, if we're talking about he's going to make the same as Lane Johnson, I don't really think it's very close in terms of value, where if you're asking the question of where would I maybe spend a little bit less on and where I'd be willing to spend money on, well, I'd spend money on pass rush. I'd spend money on corner. Like, I would spend money on those things. Interior offensive lineman is just not where I'm really going to break the bank.
Agreed. I think they're getting into this this debacle with Trey Smith because of how bleak the future looked at tackle at the start of this offseason. But all that to say is it's the contracts like Trey Smith's about to get, the contracts like the one Nick Bolton just got that can get you into those predicaments. Paying the second or third best cornerback in the NFL what that person is worth is just not a problem in my mind.
You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and the Odyssey app. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get to the top stories of the day. The Royals, they have a little winning streak going. Can they keep it going in California? Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Very heavy congestion southbound 49 highway. It's the heaviest at 140th Street, stopping traffic down to about 14 miles an hour as you cross 150 highway. And debris in the roadway in the far north side of the metro, 152 highway westbound, right at 169 highway. That is stopping traffic. Heavy into downtown northbound 71. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan traffic.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal, that's all.
How about every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty?
What about guarantees?
A lifetime warranty should handle that. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Hi, folks. Bob at Blue Springs Ford. Leighton, you look like you have something to say.
I do. It's our free lifetime powertrain warranty. That includes 24-hour, 7 days a week, every day of the year for 10 years, roadside assistance.
Well, that was a mouthful.
We're talking towing, fuel, oil, water delivery to you, lockout assistance, battery service, flat tire support, emergency assistance.
Folks, if you don't come see us today,
then you'll miss out on our free lifetime warranty.
Prostate cancer, 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, but early detection can save lives. That's where KCUC comes in. They're the premier center for urology and oncology, with over 50 elite providers in more than 25 locations across the metro. KCUC makes it easy to get screened fast, in the comfort of an office, not a hospital. Schedule your screening today at kcuc.com. Don't wait. See why they're KC's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, remember, you see the best in KC. Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Flooded bathroom? AC on the fritz? When things go wrong, you need reliable service fast. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter and take $50 off any HVAC, plumbing, or electrical repair over $200. The pros at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to fix the problem. Over 40 years experience, more than 8,000 5-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee means you can trust Hamilton to bring comfort and calm back to your home. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
It's the spring sales event at Rob Sight Ford, and I'm here with the man himself, Rob Sight. Rob, you already stole the spotlight. Now what are you trying to take?
Just your attention, Kevin, and maybe a few trade-ins. Now, we've got up to $14,000 off new Fords with employee pricing, plus our own dealer discount.
14 grand. That's hotter than your Sunday barbecue.
Exactly. And unlike your burgers, these deals won't dry out. We've got hard-to-find inventory, huge trade-in values, and our non-commissioned sales team makes everything so easy.
No pressure, just real help. Even I'll admit it, it's the best place in Kansas City to buy a car, and I don't hand out compliments lightly, or seconds.
That's a fact. And don't forget, we're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and 0 grill marks.
All right, Rob, I'll give it to you, man. You're cooking up some real value over there.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit robsight.com. But hurry, these deals are sizzling and inventory's moving fast.
And tell him Rob sent you. No guarantees, but he might throw in a hot dog.
Hey there, Kansas Lottery here. And we want to get together for a game or two. Meet us at your favorite retailer or wherever you like to buy your tickets, and we can let the games begin. There's a lot of fun and cash on the line. See kslottery.com for details.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Ready for a summer getaway? Start it off right with Park & Go, KC's premier airport parking destination. Open 24/7 with all covered spots to beat the summer heat. Reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking.
Have you watched Thy Royal Decree? How about Chiefs Take Tuesday? Or would you rather Wednesday? Follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for exclusive video content, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes action. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. Rob is off today. He is celebrating his first wedding anniversary this weekend. So congratulations to him and his wife. He is off today. He will be back on Monday. I am here. Nathan is here. We are taking you up until 6 o'clock. We've been kind of bouncing around. A little Royals here, a little Chiefs here, a little Game 7 of the NBA Finals coming up between the Pacers and the Thunder. You can catch that Sunday at 7 o'clock on ABC. So certainly a lot of things to get into. Nathan had not heard the AI dating story that we played earlier in the week. We played it for him. He said that after the show, he would ask his wife if she was interested in expanding their relationship and their marriage. We'll see how that goes. We'll definitely check in to see how that's working for you. I want you to be happy. I want her to be happy too, but I don't know her. I want you to be happy. And if you got to get your own personalized AI girlfriend, if you feel like that'll make you happy, Nathan, that's really what I want for you. And I could tell when we played that audio earlier, I could see the wheels spinning just a little bit. And you seem like you were possibly intrigued by the idea of having a second companion. You already got one forever partner. Why not get you another forever partner? ChatGPT.
Two things stuck out to me. The first is how emotional it made this man. You know, I look at him and I think, I want what he's feeling. Two is his lady was by his side through thick and thin, and I know my fiance would do the same for
That's
me.
real love. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Isn't that what you want? Don't you want love? Don't you want somebody who's going to be there for you unconditionally? Because that's what I saw. I saw and heard unconditional, unwavering love is what I heard. So I'm happy. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for you, Nathan. I'm happy for Rob. I'm happy for anybody that feels like they find their partner. One real partner, an AI partner, whoever it is, if you found that person for you, good, man. Go be happy. Life is too short. Life is too short. Go be happy. All right, there's a lot to get into. Let's start with the Royals. I have been hearing this audio clip in my head for the last couple of days, and I believe that this is the message that the Royals were sending. The Royals had that players-only meeting. It's one thing to have that accountability come from the guys inside your locker room that are on the team. But I think the message and the public statement from the Royals was simple. We are not panicking. We are preaching positivity and patience. Here's JJ Piccolo.
But really, it's just staying positive right now, understanding the history between the coaches and the players, and the reminders. Nobody knows our current hitters as well as the guys in our batting cages every day. I mean, they live with them every day. They understand their swings. They understand what makes them tick. And now it's just a matter of trying to tweak some things here and there, but also stay positive. You know, you've got to stay positive through these tougher times. And I know we have the right guys that will stay positive, and they put the work in every day. You know, I can tell you this. Today in Texas is not going to look any different than last year in Texas as far as the energy and the positivity and our processes. But now the challenge is a little bit greater because the confidence, you know, is wavering a little bit. But all it takes is one little good run offensively to get that confidence back, and you just go play baseball.
So that was JJ Piccolo earlier this week. That was on the Cody and Gold show. And you know what we saw this week? We saw the Royals. They had great patience, they had great positivity, and they also had great power. Sometimes sports are simple. I know that you guys hate in basketball when they shoot a lot of threes, but you know what usually helps you win a lot of games? If you make a lot of threes. It's real easy. If you make more threes than your opponent, you will probably win that basketball game. I know that Kauffman Stadium has led us all to believe that home runs are bad. You know, you can't hit home runs. You got to try to hit guys with runners in scoring position and go base to base and keep the line moving. Hey, sometimes you know what's really good? One guy walks, the next guy hits a home run. Wait, look, we just scored 2 runs. That's what the Royals did this week. Now, they were in a very different ballpark, but the Royals pitching was the same that it's been. They held the Rangers to under 3 runs in all 3 of their games. And then they scored more than 3 runs in all of their 3 games. The Royals scored 16 runs in the 3 games against the Rangers. They scored 11 runs last week in their homestand over the 6-game stretch. This series was very, very simple. When the Royals needed production offensively, they just hit a home run. Salvi hit a couple of home runs. Bobby Witt Jr. hit a home run. Jack Haglione hit 2 home runs yesterday. That was the difference in this series. It was the Royals' power. Now, you are hoping that this kind of momentum can carry. We all laughed at the players' meeting that they had. But you know what? The Royals are 3-1 since that player meeting. And offensively, they just had their best series. I think you'd be really hard-pressed to find a series in which they were better offensively than they were against the Texas Rangers. So it is one series. I'm not here to overreact. I'm not here to tell you that everything is all fine and dandy. I'm also not here to tell you that things are raining at Kauffman Stadium. I don't know. But this is a very pivotal stretch for the Royals as we are going to look up, and we are 3 weeks away from the All-Star break. We are less than a week away from the midway point of the baseball season. How do you stack up against the other teams in the American League? How do you stack up against the other teams that are fighting for the same 2 or 3 wild card spots that you are? The pitching has remained constant for the first 75, 76 games of the season. It's been the offense that has been up and down. And if you were telling me that they can get a locked-in Salvi, a locked-in Vinny, Jack Caglione adding his power, Bobby Wood Jr., if you can lock that in from now until the All-Star break, you can look up and the Royals are 4 or 5 games over 500 and they're a game or 2 up in the wild card race. It really just takes their offense getting going. And I think there were a lot of positive signs in Texas that maybe, just maybe, the Royals can get things going on offense.
You mentioned something towards the start of that segment, and that was the team could hit a 2-run home run after someone gets on base. I didn't know that you were allowed to do that in baseball. I've watched this Royals team for half a season. Didn't know you could score 2 or 3 runs in one swing of the bat. But it's pretty cool when they did that. I think it's pretty likely that we look back later in the season and say, hey, when Cags came up, when they had that player-only meeting, that's when things turned around. And maybe it's not because those things actually turned the offense around, but it's because the offense simply had to. Like, if this team was to avoid bottoming out and losing 95 games, it was time to start hitting. It was foolish to think that the starting rotation was going to do what they were doing for the first month and a half of this season all year. And quite frankly, the rotation has been below league average this far in June. And that coincided with the losing streak at home. You're not pitching well, the other team's scoring runs, and then you are not scoring as many runs, you lose baseball games. It was very refreshing to see them hit timely with runners in scoring position this week. It's got me pretty fired up for this weekend in San Diego. I don't know, there's still a lot of big personalities on that team. They were in a little skirmish yesterday. I think it should be a fun weekend out there in San Diego.
Yeah, sometimes you're going to score runs by, stringing 2, 3, 4 hits together and kind of putting together a big inning. Sometimes it takes a walk, a single, home run. Wait, look up. You had a 3-run home run.
Didn't know you could do that.
They hit their first 3-run home run since opening day this week in this series. So offensively, they definitely turned the corner. You're now going to Petco Park. I believe that's what they're still calling the Padres Stadium out there. We'll see if the offense carries. It's a little more difficult place to hit. We'll see if it carries for the Royals, and we'll see if the Royals win this series against the Padres, they will come back home 500. And after an 0-6 week, to go 5-1 the next week, you didn't completely undo all of the losing from a week ago. You made up a large portion of it, and can you keep that positive momentum going, and can you keep things flowing? So we'll see what happens with the Kansas City Royals. Earlier today on the show, we had Nate Taylor join us on the show, and we asked him, if you had a crystal ball, who do you think starts week 1 at left tackle? Because there is a report that Josh Simmons is ahead of schedule, and he is going to be a full go at the start of training camp. We asked Nate Taylor who he thinks starts for the Chiefs week 1. Here's what he said.
It's got to be Jalen Moore. Let's be serious, kids. Let's all take a deep breath. And I know that the Chiefs want us to believe, Carrington. The Chiefs are trying very hard. Andy Reid specifically is saying no. Like Joshua Simmons, give him all the credit. He's been ahead of schedule every step of the way from the moment they selected him in the first round on opening draft night. But let's be clear. The guy's coming off a non-contact knee injury. The more time you give Joshua Simmons the ability to get up to NFL speeds, to get his knee to be strengthened, to not put the burden of like, hey, protect the greatest quarterback we've ever seen on opening night, because didn't we just kind of see that last year with Kingsley Suamataia? Well, hey, that's why you went out and you paid Jalen Moore on a somewhat of a prove-it deal. Hey, NFL starting money. Hey, it's a 2-year deal. We can get out of it in year 2 if we don't like how it goes in year 1. And you don't have to push Joshua Simmons to be ready for opening night the way that they tried to push Kingsley Suamataia, who, by the way, was fully healthy entering the NFL. So give a ton of credit and respect to Joshua Simmons. We know how talented he could be when fully healthy based on his tape in college. But I think the logical, more educated guess is, hey, man, Jalen Moore's played in the NFL. You should probably trust him on opening night.
So the Chiefs are, I don't know if this is a bad situation or a good situation. It's probably more good than bad, but it's a worthy talking point nonetheless. If they have 3 healthy available tackles, only 2 of them can play. They are very heavily financially invested in 2 of them, and they have spent great draft capital on the other one. You have given Jalen Moore $21 million guaranteed. It's a 2-year, $30 million deal. It's essentially a 1-year contract with a, hey, if this first year goes really well, we will just extend you on the back end of it, because next year there will essentially almost be no guaranteed money attached to it. And we kind of know enough about these contracts to know there's not really a lot of guaranteed money attached to it. It's usually time to get yourself a new contract. So it's kind of a 1-year deal that masquerades as a, hey, we want the negotiating rights on the back end of it. And if you outperform this deal, we'll obviously make it right for you. Or if you don't perform, we can easily get out of this contract and move on and do something very different. The Jawaan Taylor contract, it is one of the bigger anchors that they have this year financially. They are not cutting Jawaan Taylor. They are not moving on from Jawaan Taylor. And then you have the young guy in Joshua Simmons, who, at least there was a time, we thought he was going to be more of a red shirt player for this upcoming season. That's not how the Chiefs are really talking about him. Now, it could be early. It's June. It's everybody's feeling good about those things. And maybe that's not how it plays itself out in a month when everybody returns to training camp. That certainly could be the case. But the Chiefs have made I don't want to say a significant investment in Jalen Moore, but certainly a solid financial investment, and you can't do anything about right tackle for this upcoming season. I still maintain, and I agree with Nate Taylor, the best thing for the Chiefs this year is to play Jalen Moore at left tackle, have it work at left tackle, move him to right tackle at the end of this season. After you release Jawaan Taylor and get back $20 million in cap space, you insert Josh Simmons. So in 2026, you got Jalen Moore on one side after a productive season in which he has shown you he can stay healthy and be an every down offensive tackle in this league. Joshua Simmons is ready to step in and is fully healthy and ready to go. You get the extra cap space from Jawaan Taylor, and now you go spend that on George Karlaftis, or you go spend that on another wide receiver, or whatever you want to spend the $20 million on. I still maintain that's the best way of handling this in the short term, as they're trying to figure out how to navigate having 3 offensive tackles with only 2 spots.
I think that's the best course of action, too, and I've changed my tune on that throughout the show today. Earlier, you asked who I thought would start week 1. I said Josh Simmons, and I think after listening to you and Nate, I've been swayed a little bit. I think what Jalen Moore can give the team this year at his peak, if it works out at left tackle, is higher than what Josh Simmons could. I think even if he's healthy, as a rookie, there will be the bumps and bruises, and we saw how that went last year with Kingsley at the left tackle spot. What I'm not interested in, though, I think it's a little bit of a sunk cost fallacy, is to say it's better for the Chiefs because they gave Jalen Moore the contract. I think that money's gone. It's spent. I want who's best at left tackle to play that position this year, but I do think you're right. That's probably Jalen Moore.
Yeah, I just think at least when we say the money is spent, and I agree with you, right? You're not getting the guaranteed money back then. But to give the player $21 million and then essentially just not give them a chance on the field is what I think kind of makes it a little bit like a different conversation, where it's like, well, this sunk cost, like, you paid him this $21. Like, I didn't pay you this $21 million guaranteed to be a break in case of emergency. It was to find out if you can be an every down starter in the league, that if you end up, let's say that that's what they end up doing, right? Let's say the Chiefs do what, I think if you polled fans, what they kind of want them to do. Josh Simmons plays left tackle for you. Jawaan Taylor plays right tackle. You move on from Jawaan, and then you move Jalen Moore over to the other side. You essentially have the same conversation next year about Jalen Moore, where you've now given him all this money, And now we still have absolutely no clue if he is an every down starter in the National Football League. At some point, Jalen Moore's just got to be on the field. At some point, hey, you've done really well in these 4 or 5 starts. What does that look like for 15, 16, 17 starts or more? And are you capable? Let's get that question answered. And then next year, either you want to move on from Jalen Moore, or he's a player that you like. You extend him, you move him over to the right side, and now you have both your right and left tackle. You've got that answered for the next 3 or 4 seasons.
That's the most persuasive argument I've heard, which is, what do we need to do at right tackle next offseason when Juwan Taylor's gone? Do we have the answer in Jalen Moore for at least 1 year? Or are we locking up Jalen Moore for more? No pun intended. Or do we need to go out and draft somebody or sign somebody? I think that's the most I bought into this Jalen Moore thing, is we need to find out what we have in him to know how to approach next offseason at the right tackle spot.
All right, coming up in just a little bit, we'll get back to the Kansas City Chiefs, but I do want to give you guys some thoughts on Game 7 of the NBA Finals. We are a couple days away. Sunday at 7 o'clock, we will have Game 7 of the NBA Finals. All right, Nate, this is what I'd like for you to do. Let's do the Baker read, and then we'll talk about Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
Yeah, Carrington, the hits are brought to you by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Well, as you mentioned, there's a big one on Sunday night in the NBA as the Pacers will head to OKC. It's $1,000 to get in the door for Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
My heart is telling me that the Pacers are going to win. You can fade the music down. This is why my heart is telling me this. At every single turn, we have told the Pacers, you have come as far as you were going to go. At every single turn, we've told them that this postseason. And all they've done is prove a majority of people wrong. A lot of people thought that they were going to lose in 5 to OKC. They got past that. Everything was in line for them to lose last night. Everything was. Tyrese Halliburton was dealing with an injury. He didn't make a shot in Game 5. They're coming back home. Everything screamed Thunder in 6. They went out there and pummeled. I mean, absolutely pummeled OKC in Game 6 and put together, I think, one of the more exciting plays, certainly in recent NBA history. That steal where Tyrese Halliburton gets the ball, they get the fast break, he does the Magic Johnson pass into the Pascal Siakam dunk that gets that crowd going. It is one of the best plays in recent memory in the NBA. I know history tells you that the Thunder are going to win. There have been 19 Game 7s in the NBA Final, and the home team is 15-4. And usually, I mean, it takes an historic effort, or you got to have one of the 3 best players in the league to win a game like this. The Cavs won this game back in, 2016. Early Boston Celtics. I mean, we're talking one of the greatest organizations, if not the greatest organization in the history of the league. Like, you normally need one of those guys to do it. But there's just been something weird about this Pacers team that is just hard for me to shake. Looking at the line that they have together, it's what, Thunder minus 8.5, Thunder minus 9? If you look at recent Game 7s, the one thing we do know is this game is going to be close. This game is also going to be low scoring. You probably didn't know this, but out of the last 5 Game 7s that there have been in the NBA Finals, neither team has scored more than 100 points in those games. So this isn't your normal NBA game that you think is going to be played 110 to 101. No, this game is usually won like 95-89, which makes sense. This is the most high-pressure, high-stressful basketball situation that you can possibly ever play in. This is legacy-defining. If you are OKC and you won 64 games this year and you have a 3-2 lead against this team and you lose in their building and you get blown out and then you lose a Game 7 back at the crib, it is a monumental collapse. If you are the Pacers, going on the road and trying to steal this game in what might be the best home court advantage, the best home atmosphere of the entire NBA, obviously a high pressure packed situation, Usually what defines these kind of games, it is the role players, it's the secondary players. It's a game in which TJ McConnell ends up scoring 17 points and none of us can explain it. It's where Ben Mathurin shoots 8 of 12 from the floor and hits 2 big shots down the stretch. I know that the Thunder should win this game. I know that the Thunder will probably win this game. I acknowledge they are the better team out of these two. But this series has been way closer than anybody can imagine. The Thunder have only outscored the Pacers in this series by 5 points. So it's been a coin flip for the most part. And I don't know. I can't explain it. It just feels like one of those games. It feels like one of those situations, one of those years in just which we're going to look up and the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were the best team in the NBA regular season. They beat everybody's darling in the New York Knicks. And then they went on the road as tremendous underdogs in this series, and they knocked out who people believe was the best team in the NBA. It just feels like it's one of those kind of years for the Pacers.
It's got, and I hate to make the obvious low-hanging local comparison, but it's got the 2014 Royals vibes, right? Like, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Will they flame out in Game 7? The Royals came really close. They didn't get it done. Or is it going to be a trivia answer in 20 years? Is who won the NBA Finals this year? Man, I did not see myself rooting for the Indiana Pacers at the start of the playoffs this year. They're scrappy. They're magical. I really enjoy watching them, and I think I'm going to be pulling for them on Sunday night. I'm probably picking OKC when it comes down to it. It's probably where I'm putting my money, but I think I'm all in on the Pacers this Sunday.
I've already placed my bet on the Indiana Pacers. I placed my bet. I have the Pacers plus 9.5 in the game. I also have the under 214 for a game like this. It's just way too high of a number in my opinion. I think 214 is just off. That's actually the bet I feel most confident in as we head into the NBA Finals. All right, if you missed it, coming up on the other side, we had Nate Taylor join us on the show. We'll go through some of the top stories of the offseason for the Chiefs. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Catch Hall of Famer Denny Matthews every Monday at 3.
And gone, Bobby Witt.
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
It's Rawhide Harley's sign and ride event. No cash down needed. Rates as low as 1.49% APR on select Harleys. Put no cash down, sign, and ride away on your new Harley from Rawhide Harley. Save thousands on interest at Rawhide Harley Davidson. Under credit on income 24 rider ST, rider S, or road 3 miles. See dealer for details.
At Casey's, we're too nice to say no. So when someone asked for a free frozen drink, we said sure. Then they said every Friday all summer, and well, now we're giving away free medium frozen drinks every Friday. Free frozen Fridays with Casey's Rewards. It's not crazy, it's Casey's. See store for details.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state, back and forth, dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then, 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
It's funny how one little light can stall out your entire day. I was already running behind, and now this, the check engine light. So I reached out to my go-to problem solver. Dad, check engine light. What do I do? He didn't miss a beat. Take it to Telly, he said. So I did. When I got there, they didn't just fix my car. They fixed my day. They were quick, clear, and took care of everything. Next time my car glitches out, I'm heading for Telly. Don't let that little light be game over. Take it to Telly.
If Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea was your best friend, it would be the kind of friend that starts an impromptu dance party in the supermarket aisle that turns into an all-day pool party rager at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea turns any day into a legendary adventure. It's smooth and refreshing real iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery. so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little Chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Heavy congestion still in place in Grandview. Southbound lanes of 49 Highway. It is the heaviest right at about 140th Street, down to about 10 miles an hour there. Westbound 70 looks like it's tracking a little bit better, about 10 minutes from 65th to K7. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back into The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. All right, a couple of things. We had Nate Taylor on the show earlier today, and we asked him, what is he hearing about Rashee Rice? Now, maybe this was wrong on my part, and I can admit that. We have been looking at this like Rashee Rice is going to be suspended at some point this offseason. Well, this is still tied up in the court system, man. Roger Goodell has been very, very clear. If it is still in the court system, we are not doing anything. That's not how it used to be in the old days. Rashee Rice probably would have been suspended last offseason, but players got mad. Hey, you guys are not the law. You got to let the law enforcement, you got to let all the criminal proceedings proceed. Okay, you're right. So we don't do that anymore. So while this thing is still tied up in court, Rashee Rice is still free and eligible to play. So as of now, I am operating. I can't speak for anybody else. I am operating like he is going to be there week one. I think we all know how this court stuff works. If you got the right lawyer in the right situation, you can keep asking for continuances and you can get this thing moved. This thing is still unresolved, and the incident happened last Easter. No, not this most recent one. I'm talking 2024 Easter. This has been a cloud over Rashee Rice for over a year now, and it doesn't appear like it is ending anytime soon. He's still got the criminal matter to deal with and all the civil lawsuits from all of this. So I still think we got a ways to go. So from a football are you eligible standpoint, it sounds like he's still going to be eligible. Here's Nate Taylor.
Even though this is an audio medium, I am still, as you were going through that, Carrington, I was shaking my head. I was just like, it's kind of crazy that we've gotten to this point that the odds of Rashee Rice being ready to go in the best shape you could ask of him, essentially coming off his injury, and being in uniform on the field in Sao Paulo in Brazil on opening night, the odds of that are higher than I could have anticipated, and I think the odds are more so that happening than the league out of nowhere, making some suspension out of thin air without really any precedent or really any new information in regards to what Rashee Rice did. And I would like to remind people this over a year ago, right? This happened on Easter weekend 2 years ago. The civil suit has not been resolved. As you said, like there's been really no update on they charged him, and then he posted bail, and then he had his lawyer come out and say like, look, I apologize, I messed up. Obviously, this is all on camera. I thought, and a lot of people thought at the time, hey, that would be the first giveaway for the league to say, look, you're on video violating the personal conduct policy of the NFL because you put others in danger, which is literally in the bylaws of the personal conduct policy.
So that was Nate Taylor earlier today on Rashee Rice. Again, the league, I think, has made a very, very clear stance. As long as this thing is still tied up into the courts, we are not going to make a ruling. They usually don't kind of pop up with these suspensions in the middle of the year. I don't think we're looking at a scenario in which this thing, let's say, gets wrapped up in October, and then the league makes an announcement in December, hey, he's suspended for the next 6 games. It's not really how this thing works. If he is going to be suspended, it is going to happen sometime over the next, 7 weeks is when it's going to happen. Once they start doing preseason and start playing games, the league kind of, hey, we've already made our rulings. There's going to be this time in July where we're going to see a couple of suspensions pop up, and we're all going to be like, oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember when Alvin Kamara got in that fight in that hotel in Vegas. Oh, they're just now suspending him for that? I mean, eventually that will happen to Rashee Rice. I just don't think that's going to happen this offseason. So if he is fully healthy, I am anticipating him being there week 1 against the Chargers. That's where Nate is. That's where the story that I read from Pro Football Talk, all of those things lead me to believe that Rashee Rice will be active and reporting day 1 and will be eligible to play in the Chiefs' season opening game. I asked Nate this question. I was curious for what his answer was going to be. We know that left tackle and left guard are big questions for the Chiefs. What are the biggest questions that he has aside from left tackle and left guard? Here was his answer.
I will think of 2. The first one is, what does the running back depth actually look like? Because they signed Elijah Mitchell in free agency, and look, he's been good at times, but the injuries have been the biggest issue. But he does add a experience, if he's fully healthy, dynamic ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. Right. This will be the first time that Kareem Hunt will actually go through training camp. Will he actually retain his number 2 role in the running back? How does Isaiah Pacheco look? I know that everything's gone well so far, and then of course, I think a lot of people are like, hey, you've done it again. You drafted somebody in the 7th round who converted from receiver to running back. It's not Clyde Edwards-Helaire, kids. It's the new kid, Braden Smith. But I think running back's fascinating because I don't know what the true hierarchy is. But we'll get a better idea. I would say somewhere midway through training camp before probably the first or the second preseason game. And then secondly, Jaden Hicks. If Jaden Hicks is as good as he looked at training camp last year, Carrington, which I think it was evident to me on day 3 or day 4, like the full team practicing in St. Joe, where I was like, oh boy, the best draft pick in this class is clearly, if it works out, Xavier Worthy based on the speed and the dynamics, but the best value pick was Jaden Hicks. Who they got in the 4th round, who played, sparingly, of course, over the season. He had the mentor in Justin Reed. He's now taking over for Justin Reed, who's now in New Orleans. Man, if Jaden Hicks is really good, if he takes a pretty sizable leap, then all of a sudden you can start to anticipate the Chiefs secondary going back to the form they had just 2 years ago when you had L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, sort of locking down number 2 receivers. And you had very good safety play. This is before Brian Cook's ankle injury, obviously, and the ability of having someone like, a tackling machine in Justin Reed. Jaden Hicks has the ability to have Justin Reed upside with a little bit more playmaking ability, because I would like to remind the audience that, no, it was not Trent McDuffie who led the team in interceptions. It was not Justin Reed. It was Jaden Hicks. So if you give Jaden Hicks more snaps, more responsibility, and he handles it well, you might get more turnovers in 2025 from your secondary than you even got a year ago. And to me, he's kind of like this X factor as to how good the defense can get, even though you lose all that veteran presence from Justin Reed, even though you lose that consistency, you might get more playmaking, more dynamic ability out of Jaden Hicks if everything goes well based on what we see in St. Joe.
I'm really optimistic about the Chiefs secondary. I know that I have a reputation of being corner dot. I don't really have many questions about their corner. I like their number 1, 2, and 3 corner. I also think that they have built great depth at corner. You won't hear many complaints to me about their cornerback room. I know that makes some of you very happy. That is not the part of the team that I am worried about. I am a little bit concerned about the running back room, and I wish they had just done a little bit more this offseason. The Chiefs just didn't really spend a lot of resources on their running back room. You brought back Kareem Hunt on a 1-year deal. You picked up Elijah Mitchell, who has just never really stayed healthy in his NFL career. And in a great running back draft, you waited until the 200s to draft a running back, where I would have just drafted one in the 4th or 5th round. But we'll see if it works. But that's, if you had to ask me what is my biggest question about the Chiefs, that is not the offensive line and left and right guard, it's really 2 questions. Do they have enough in the running back room? And they can't really handle an injury to me when it comes to pass rush. If they lose Charles Omenihu for this year, I think that does big damage to this pass rush. And I think we saw last year how much of a valuable contribution he was whenever he got back right and whenever he got healthy, and what that meant for George Karlaftis. This organization just didn't really spend a lot of significant resources on really trying to improve the DN. It was bringing Charles Omenihu back. This is also the first offseason or heading into the year where there's really no issue with Charles Omenihu. His first year, remember, he was in trouble for the domestic violence issue heading into the NFC Championship game. So he was suspended his first season. And then last year, he was recovering from an injury. So this is the first season in which there's no off-the-field things. There's no injury things. It is just about playing ball and getting back to having a really good season. So we'll see. Knock on wood. Hopefully he stays healthy. If he's healthy, then I think they have enough at pass rush. But, you know, the Chiefs are going to have to deal with some injury over the course of the season, and you are better prepared to deal with an injury at some positions than you are with other positions. I don't really know how prepared they are to deal with an injury that happens on their defensive end and who's going to be able to help generate the pass rush. I mean, we've seen in now 3 straight years the sack numbers decrease for Chris Jones. Is he going to get back to being a 10, 11, 12 sack guy? Because that would solve a lot of the pass rush problems that we are talking about here. Coming up on the other side, we'll get back to Game 7. We'll also get you ready for the Royals this weekend in San Diego. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Harris, Kansas City is giving away $150,000 in guaranteed prizes Saturday, June 28th to celebrate Mid-Year's Eve. One lucky guest will walk away with $50,000 in cold, hard cash at midnight. Plus, leading up to the big finale, you can win up to $2,500 in free play every 15 minutes. The best part? You can earn extra entries into the big drawing from now until June 28th. Don't miss the hottest celebration of the summer, only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, folks. Bob at Blue Springs Ford. Blayton, you look like you have something to say.
I do. It's our free lifetime powertrain warranty. That includes 24-hour, 7 days a week, every day of the year for 10 years, roadside assistance.
Well, that was a mouthful.
We're talking towing, fuel, oil, water delivery to you, lockout assistance, battery service, flat tire support, emergency assistance.
Folks, if you don't come see us today,
then you'll miss out on our free lifetime warranty.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal, that's all.
How about every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty?
What about guarantees?
A lifetime warranty should handle that. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone. AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little Chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Congestion pretty heavy southbound 49 highway. Heaviest at 140th Street, and it is down to almost stopping traffic there. And we are seeing brake lights heading westbound on 70, looking at about 18 miles an hour around that Jackson curve. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Hey Kansas City, it's Vinny Pasquantino. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
We got Game 7 coming up. We got Royals and Padres coming up. There's no more hockey. There's a little bit of golf. We're reaching what they call the dog days. I mean, after Sunday, it's just baseball until we get to Chiefs training camp, till we get to football. Nathan, what do you usually do in the evening? What kind of, what fills your time? What do you do in your free time?
It's a lot of hanging out with the fiance. So we do our best to like make dinner, take the dog for a walk, not sit in front of the screen, because I know that a lot of my time during, football season is spent in front of the screen. So I'm going to do my best to, be active, right? Go treat the body right, go get out before it's freezing cold again. It's going to be super hot the next week or two. Try to get out and not rot behind a screen. I'm going to say that's my goal for the next couple of weeks with nothing on TV.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense. I have been doing really well about watching a different television show. I recently ended House of Cards. I actually did not watch the last season of House of Cards, which is the purpose of why I started the rewatch. I started the first 2 episodes of the last season. I said, you know what? I think I've come as far as I need to come. And you know how on YouTube, you can just watch one person explain the final season of something in like a 10, 12-minute chunk. I just watched 2 of those. So I feel like I know what happened. I did see the ending of the show. I just was no longer invested in the time of watching the show. I was out. I was no longer watching it. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to watch next. And a lot of my friends and people that I know are starting to watch Love Island. And I'm starting to wonder, am I just simply missing out? Should I watch Love Island? Should I watch it? Is that going to be the show that gets me through the next couple of weeks or so? And am I going to make that? Because there isn't a series right now that I really feel like I need to watch. I've been on a big documentary kick the last week or so. So I watched the Travis Scott documentary. I watched the one on the Titanic. I've been like watching different documentaries, but I'm not watching a show right now. So I got to figure out if there's going to be a show I watch, or I'm just going to watch Love Island like everybody else.
Now, this is not a shot at trash TV, all right? We watch Love is Blind, all right? So I have watched shows that are in a similar ilk. So this is not.
That show just moved too slow for me. Like, I was in Love is Blind in the first couple of seasons, but when they started spending 4 or 5 episodes in the pods, I'm like, bro, I'm not that invested in this relationship.
And like 4 on the vacation too.
Yeah, it's like, what are we
much.
doing here? We should spend 2 episodes. I felt like it was way too much filler in Love is Blind, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I quit in the middle of one of the seasons, and I don't really have any interest in going back. It was a great idea in the beginning, but you know how Netflix is. Netflix is the king of taking something that should be an hour and trying to squeeze 3 hours out of it. This documentary does not need 3 hour and 30-minute parts. It's not that interesting of a story. You can't have a really good 75 minutes on this story. That's kind of how I felt with Love is Blind. We don't need to be in the pods for 5 episodes. It's too much.
Love Island stinks, man. I am a hard no on Love Island. It's bad. It's bad. And if you don't like, man, so this is a prior girlfriend of mine a couple years ago that would watch Love Island, and if I remember correctly, there's like 40 episodes in a season. It's like just if you don't like filler.
Now I do know that it comes on. I know a lot about Love Island for someone who has not seen the show. I've never seen a second of it. Like, I've seen like TikToks of it, but I've never seen like the actual show before. I know that it does not come on Wednesdays, and Saturdays is like a repeat recap show. I do know that, but it comes on it comes on 5 days a week.
New episodes?
That's my understanding on Peacock.
Oh.
I don't really understand anything about the show. That's what I'm saying is I'm kind of want to watch it so I know what's going on. You know what I probably honestly need to watch? I probably need to watch that Last of Us.
It's good stuff.
That's probably what I need to watch. What's the HBO show? Is that what that one is for the year? Because like they always have they had the Penguin a couple of years ago. They always have like some random True Detective season. What's the HBO show for the summer?
Yeah, I would say The Last of Us has been their big one. It ended, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago or so. But yeah, no, it's a good story.
I just wasn't watching it because it was Sundays during the NBA final. Like
Right.
during the NBA playoffs, I'm not really watching too many. If I'm not watching baseball or the playoff, I'm not really watching too many other things during this time.
Speaking of what I do outside of work, I will definitely make time during this, before football starts here, during this lull, to play the video game The Last of Us. I enjoyed the show to that extent. I highly recommend it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I've been playing the Switch. I have the new Switch, the Switch 2. I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart, but that's a little different. Like that's it's like handheld, so I'm just laying there. I'm like, oh, I should just play Mario Kart for a little bit. So no, I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart. They also have the N64 on there, so you can like play the old games. I've been playing a lot of Mario Tennis on there, oddly enough. A lot of Mario Tennis and Pokemon Snap. Those have been my time waster activities on the Nintendo Switch. I'm picking the Pacers to win tomorrow. I just call it a hunch. That's how I feel. Call it a hunch. They might lose. I'm picking the Pacers. That's a team I want to see win. I want to see them complete this thing. I want to see what happens.
I think they're the team of destiny. I think
that's how I feel too.
I think as the game gets closer, I'm going to gravitate more and more to that as well. As of right now, give me the Thunder. This is not put me down for the Thunder. I think they're the better team. I think it makes sense. They're at home. Like you said earlier, they've got one of the 3 best players in the game. It just makes sense for them to win this game. But, man, this Pacers team just got some magic about them, man.
I agree with you, man. Really good stuff filling in for Rob today, man. I appreciate you being here. We are going to be back to our normal show on Monday. I'll be back. Rob will be back. We'll have a lot of fun. Really excited about that. Hey, I'll catch you guys next week. And until then, I'll let Daniel Craig take you home.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Only $39 for an AC tune-up. Book now at themvpkc.com. MVP Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Electric is your home's MVP this summer. Get a summer AC tune-up for just $39 and avoid costly repairs. Call today, 913-214-1212, or visit themvpkc.com. MVP, one call does it all.
One of my favorite